hello, hello, hello.
पढ़ पा रही है तो
हाँ
प्रोफेसर ऑफ मेरा
अच्छा
नाम
हाँ
है प्रोफेसर इकोनॉमिक्स उत्कल
प्रिंसिपल सर अच्छे ना हेलो हेलो हेलो
हेलो ये पानी चाहिए Good morning, everyone. A very warm and distinguished morning to one and all present here. I, Astosh,
And I, Subrata,
welcome you all to this international conference on entrepreneurship and Viksit Bharat, igniting skills and innovation for sustainable development. ICEVB 2025, organized within the premises of our esteemed Palla Maharaj Engineering College. I extend my warm regards to all the dignitaries and my heartfelt greeting to all the participants, media personals, as well as faculties, staff, and students seated here in this gathering.
without making further delay, may I have the honor of inviting our esteemed dignitaries to join us on the dais. Today, we have with us Honorable Professor Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty sir, former Vice Chancellor BPUT Odisha as the Chief Guest of ICEBB 2025. Professor Dr. Mitali Chinara ma'am, Professor Analytical and Applied Economics, Utkal University.
Professor Dr. Pravakar Sahu sir, Program Director, Niti Aayog, New Delhi. Professor Chittaranjan Mahanti sir, Principal, Palla Maharaj Engineering College, Barampur, and Patron of ICEVB 2025.
Dr. Ganaranjan Mohanty sir, Convener ICEBB 2025.
Dr. Debashish Mahapatra sir, Organizing Secretary, ICEVB 2025.
May I now request our volunteers to present bouquets to our esteemed dignitaries.
Now, may I request the dignitaries to light the lamp and formally inaugurate ICEVB 2025. I request Nikita to sing the Bandana and charge the environment with vibes of spirituality. May I request everyone to please stand for the lamp lighting ceremony.
दीपं ज्योति जनार्दना दीपं ज्योति हरे पापं दीपं ज्योति नमोस्तुते दीपं ज्योति परं ब्रह्मा दीपं ज्योति जनार्दना दीपं ज्योति हरे पापं दीपं ज्योति नमोस्तुते दीपं ज्योति परं ब्रह्मा दीपं ज्योति जनार्दना दीपं ज्योति
request everyone to rise in honor and unity as we pay tribute to the spirit of our land by playing Bande Utkal Janani, the state anthem of Odisha. I request the volunteers to play the anthem.
तपयोधि विधौत शरीरा
ताळतमाळ सुशोभित तीरा
शुभ्रतटी निकुळ शिखर समीरा
जननी जननी जननी
वन्दे उत्कळ जननी
घन घन वनभूमि राजित अङ्गे
नीळभूधर माळा साजे तरंगे कण कण मुखरित चारु विहंगे
जननी 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 वन्दे उत्कळ जननी
Now, I request the volunteers to play the BPUT anthem. Thank you, everyone. Now, I invite esteemed Professor Gyanaranjan Mahanti Sir, convener ICEVB 2025, to deliver the welcome address. Please, sir.
Respected Program Director, Niti Aayog, New Delhi. Respected Professor Mitali Chinnara, PG Council Chairman, Utkal University, Professor in Economics. Respected Principal, Parla Maharaja Engineering College, Professor Chittaranjan Mohanty. My colleague, Dr. Debashis Mahapatra, Organizing Secretary, ICEVB 2025. Respected distinguished speakers, paper presenters, poster presenters, participants, my colleagues from Parla Maharaja Engineering College, dear students from different media houses. I, on behalf of Entrepreneurship Development Cell, Parla Maharaja Engineering College, welcome you all to the International Conference on Entrepreneurship and Viksit Bharat, Igniting Skill and Innovation for Sustainable Development, ICEVB 2025. To start with, I must say that Entrepreneurship Development Cell of Parla Maharaja Engineering College is one of the oldest cell operating in this college and is a vibrant students unit which organizes, rather has been organizing different programs for inculcating the spirit of entrepreneurship among students of Parla Maharaja Engineering College besides students of peripheral colleges by organizing different programs. We used to organize entrepreneurship awareness camp sponsored by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, MDP sponsored by MSME, different type of competition, hackathon, among students of Parla Maharaja Engineering College and also among students of other colleges. We have also organized startup mela, startup camps, and we have recognized the successful startup owners of among our alumni. Besides, this is the third conference that Entrepreneurship Development Cell is organizing in last 5 years. Coming to the ICEVB 2025, I must say that these 2 days deliberation on different issues of entrepreneurship growth in India is composing of different parts. After this inaugural session, we will have a plenary session where experts from IIM Sambalpur, ICEVB, then practitioner entrepreneurs, then professors from IJs will deliberate on different topic in 2 days. For your kind information of all, we have received 120 contribution from across the country for this particular conference, and out of which we have, the process is on, we have received full paper of 80s which is shortly publishing. Then besides that, we will have 4 technical sessions on different 4 themes of the conference. With these activities, we are having another activity of having the poster competition among the undergraduate and postgraduate student. The objective is just to feel them that entrepreneurship is an alluring career opportunity in future India. Besides this, we will have the valedictory session tomorrow, and at the evening, today evening, the speakers from California University, Professor Suchismita Mishra is also joining online. She will join online. Then IIT Kharagpur Professor N.C. Naik will join tomorrow. The list is long. I am not able to give you all the details. We have attached the sheet with you all. So this 2 days, I think, will be a vibrant academic environment in Parla Maharaja Engineering College. I hope these 2 days stay of you all will be a memorable one. Again, being the convener, I welcome you all to ICEVB 2025. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Let me invite Professor Chittaranjan Mahanti, sir, Principal, Pala Maharaj Engineering College and Patron ICVB 2025 to address the audience. Please, sir.
Good morning to all. Distinguished chief guest of this inaugural session, Professor Onkar Nath Mohanty sir, ex-Vice Chancellor BPUT, Professor Mitali Chinara, Professor from Utkal University, Professor Prabhakar Sahu, Program Director from Niti Aayog, New Delhi, and my two colleagues, Dr. J.R. Mohanty and Dr. Devashish Mahapatra, Organizing Secretary of this conference, and my colleagues of the dais and the participants or faculties from different colleges, and my dear student friends. The title of this conference is Entrepreneurship and Viksit Bharat, the Igniting Skill and Innovation for Sustainable Development. The objective is how to develop an ecosystem through entrepreneurship that will help or that will motivate our students to be an entrepreneur. It's the bottom line. But when I look at the Indian history or Indian tradition, what I find actually some special communities, actually they are meant for business. They are meant for entrepreneurship. Yes, that myth is over. Now the people from other communities, from all sections of the societies are doing entrepreneurship, are doing business, and they have been successful entrepreneur and trying to be in the process. But point is, whether it is by choice or it is by compulsion. When I ask my students, the first priority is to get placed in the training placement cell. Their second or third priority is to look into or is to trying to be an entrepreneur. Then why it is so? It is the barrier that we have to break. Because sometimes what I find also it is the barrier has to be broken from different angles. The government asks us to give us the placement rate. How many students got placed in your campus? They have never asked that how many students are trying to be entrepreneur from a college. They never asked. These barriers have to stop. Then when I ask my student, what I get the feedback, they are never trying to be a job developer or job giver, rather trying to be a job seeker. Their first motive is to be an employee, not to be employer. Then how to break that barrier? how to break that mindset. Yes, slowly it is happening. The trend is changing. The government has introduced the curriculum that entrepreneurship development as one of the subject in our curriculum. But still many miles to go. But when I interact with my students, I try to find out what is what is their mindset, why it is not being changing. I find that there are certain core challenges. I find that financial insecurity, the lack of skills, inadequate social protection or social security, these are the major challenges 3 and 4 I find. And these challenges actually they are so much deeply rooted in systemic barriers like the what I say, that is the low level of awareness and poor use of serviceability and all other factors. And now I find that frontier emerging technology, new technologies such as artificial intelligence, that Internet of Things, blockchain, robotics, and immersive learning, these are the technologies as I think they will get the way to find out the affordable and most affordable and accessible and that the ways, the solutions to break these barriers. How to get it? You see the artificial intelligence. The artificial intelligence, now it is nothing a new concept. It is an old concept. But see, it has ignited the interest of AI, the chat GPT. It has ignited the interest of AI like never before. So we have to see the alternative. We have to find out, yes, the India has done it. India has a lot of successes in digital infrastructure. We have the UPI, we have the Jan Dhan, we have that Aadhaar, we have done it. And recently also, the PMC, our college has also done it. In recently, that our college, in case of innovation, we are in the process of developing a full-fledged chip. You might have heard out of 32 colleges, NIT and IITs, the PMC was also one of them. We are trying to best, given the facility also, we are trying to make it. We are trying to achieve it, the national goal. But the point is, it will take its time. Now the government of Odisha also has sanctioned 8 crores rupees to have a business and technology incubator in campus so that the people, the students of our campus can realize their potentials to have their own setup when they leave the college. So it is a long way to go. Still it is not over. We will try it, we will keep on trying it so as to see our Bharat Viksit by 2047. At the end also I welcome all of you again and I hope, sincerely hope, that the deliberation and discussion to be made within in these 2 days, that it will motivate our students to be an entrepreneur. Thank you all. Lord Jagannath bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Today, we have with us Professor Dr. Mitali Chinara Ma'am, Chairperson, Postgraduate Council and Director, Self-Financing Courses of Utkal University, Bhubaneswar. She finished with highest grades in her master's class in Analytical and Applied Economics at Utkal University, Odisha, bagging the university gold medal. She continued her academic voyage doing an MPhil and later a PhD in economics. Before returning to her alma mater as a member of faculty, she taught myriad courses at the undergraduate, graduate and postgraduate levels in state colleges across the length and breadth of the state of Odisha, which include the erstwhile Revensa College and Ramadevi Women's Autonomous College. She joined the Department of A&A Economics, Utkal University as an associate professor in 2010 and was elevated as a professor in the same department in 2013, where she teaches postgraduate students and guides scholars in her PhD courses. She specializes in economics of social sector, quantitative techniques, econometrics, and macroeconomics. With several research papers, books, and reports to her credit, she has delivered keynote addresses at several national and international conferences. She has worked as the director of UGC Human Resources Development Center, Utkal University, which trains teachers across disciplines, the director, Students' Welfare, and director, IQAC of Utkal University. Currently, she is the chairperson of Postgraduate Council and director, Self-Financing Courses of Utkal University. She was also a member of Odisha State Commission for Backward Classes. So, with this, I invite ma'am to address today's gathering. Please, ma'am.
So very good morning to all present over here. At the outset, let me express my gratitude to this college and my student Gyano for giving me this opportunity of standing before you on this day, the 17th day of October 2025. Esteemed Principal, Parala Maharaja Engineering College, Barampur, the chief guest, Professor, very revered Professor Omkar Nath Mahanti, Professor Prabhakar Sahu, and the conference organizers and other speakers and guests, delegates, student friends. As I stand before you, this gives me a sense of deja vu because I was here for a conference of the Odisha Economic Association annual conference a few years back. So I'm really happy to be back here amongst you in this beautiful environment and these hallowed premises. So I'm here. So I have been given 20 minutes. I'll not exceed that. Remind me if I go beyond that because I'm basically a teacher. So a teacher never stops once he or she starts talking before it's 45 minutes at the minimum. I have taught for last 35 years. So today I'm going to talk about innovation driven sustainable development. Innovation, as we know, all of us know, is something new, and new is something all of us are fond of. All of us want something new, but who will do that new? So as I talk about innovation, I'll say that innovation and entrepreneurship are acknowledged as crucial drivers of economic growth. Significant innovation UNCTAD, United Nations Conference on Trade and Development 2020, flagged off that innovation capability determines a nation's comparative advantage, which once again determines its position in the world trade. It's a critical driver of sustainable development, and if we look at the 17 goals of the United Nations SDGs as they are referred to, one of them is the 9th goal is about industry and innovation, and this aims to take care of the 5 P's, that is people, planet, prosperity, partnership, peace of global challenges. And it is estimated or rather forecast that a future trajectory of production is likely to be innovation intensive and which requires innovative ecosystem driven by research and development. And investment is also essential. Investments in R&D is also essential for addressing the range of global challenges that all of us are facing across the globe, across all kinds of countries, least developed, developing, and the developed ones, which is about climate change, instability, and national security. And India is placed at a crucial place with expanding economy, with its demographic dividend, diverse talent pool and rich cultural heritage, holds promising opportunity to harness the power of innovation. Now, if I talk about innovation now at this point of time and not talk about this, it will be not proper, right? So the Nobel Prize, which is actually the Swedish Riksbank Prize in Economic Sciences for 2025 this year, announced 3-4 days back, has gone to 3 economists, Joel Mokyr, Philip Sagion, and Peter Hoyt. And Joel Mokyr is from the Northwestern University. He is an American-Israeli economist. And Aguillon is a French economist, I suppose, working in London School of Economics and Harvard, and Howitt is in the Brown University. He is a Canadian, and they have spoken about importance of innovation. And this is at this point of time not talking about this Nobel Prize will not be proper, at least for the students to know that. Now, if I talk about innovation and when did it make a beginning in economic theory or economic analysis, if I have to go back to 1942 to Joseph Schumpeter. Schumpeter for the first time talked about innovation, and he also talked about something which these 3 economists are also talking about, which is about creative destruction, right? So innovation, those who are students of economic development, they know that Schumpeter said that development is spurred by innovation. And if I look at the ideas contained in this award recognizes their contribution in explaining long-run sustained growth, which is guided through self-generating process of innovation, supported by one important institutional mechanism supporting innovations and creative destruction. Creative destruction, innovation, as I said, is something new. And when something new is created, something is destroyed. For example, if you want to buy clothes to put in your cupboard, you have to create space for it, so something has to be given away. So something will have to be destroyed. New products coming in means old products will be replaced. New method of production, new methodology, technology coming in means old methodology has to be replaced. That is what is called creative destruction, which happens as a outcome of the process of creation, as they say, and it can help strategizing, averting the economic stagnation. When we had last century during 1930s, the Great Depression, and this year in 2008, the global, meltdown, during that period, there was a general kind of perception that the world economy might be moving towards economic stagnation. Stagnation means not having growth. So they have said that it can help. Innovation can help in averting economic stagnation. Mokyr has underscored through things propositional knowledge and prescriptive knowledge, which is what and how. This is basically what and how. And innovation, important innovation in order to translate into sustained growth must have practical application and commercial use. To have innovation as a theory is not sufficient. It should be put to practice, and not only put to practice, it should have commercial viability. It has to transform at the ground. And innovation may result in creative destruction, and thus it may be resisted by affected stakeholders. If my production process, my product is going out, I will resist anything new, like people are now resisting artificial intelligence, fearing that jobs may be lost. The same fear was also expressed when computers were put into place. And therefore, the role of institutional mechanism and political decision making assumes importance. Without the support of these two, innovation cannot be transformed into practice. Now, if I go to the Indian scenario, we are interested in India. Global Innovation Index published from 2025 by the World Intellectual Property Organization. Look at the India's position out of 139 countries. Now we stand at the 38th position, and with a score of 37.81 out of 100. Whether it's good or bad for you to judge. Highest score is that of Switzerland, which has a score of close to 62, I suppose. So this is where, and India is the topmost country in the set of countries, the Central and South Asia, and lower middle income countries. And India is also, in terms of the 9th SDG that I was speaking about, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, India's score is 61, with, which ranges across the states. It from Goa 76, Arunachal is 78, and Odisha has a score of 48, putting it in the category of aspirant category by Niti Aayog. Aspirant means those who have a score of less than 50 are categorized as aspirant category. Now going ahead, India's strengths and India, how it is placed, India is the 4th largest economy, likely to overtake Germany to become the 3rd largest economy. This is not our prediction, this is the prediction by IMF. And it is, the growth prospects are very good, 6.2, it is one of the fastest growing economies of the world. But in terms of investment in gross expenditure on research and development, we are not so good. Consistent decline has been seen in GERD as a percentage of GDP since 2010, and now it hovers somewhere around 0.66 and 0.64. I will show you a figure which shows, this is from World Development Indicators. The red line on the top is Korea. The bottommost line is India, which shows that our expenditure in research and development is not so good as compared to other countries, where other countries like Korea, United States, Japan, China, and Russian Federation are higher. We are stagnating at less than 1%, 0.66%, and what is more disturbing is that this is showing a slightly declining trend. A slight declining trend in terms of percentage of GDP makes a lot of difference. And if I go, India faces a shortage of researchers. In terms of percentage of population, it comes to 1,215 researchers. And in terms of, if I look at the gender divide, in terms of gender divide, female researchers are low, even in spite of, you can put it here, as compared to Sri Lanka and European Union. Now, when you talk about less number of female researchers, this is not only a gender concern, this is also a concern with regard to diversity, in terms of diversity, right? And why there is a dearth of investment, dearth of innovation, why we are lacking in innovation, why we have a lack. So I will flag off certain points, focus on certain others. Inadequate private sector investment in R&D. Private sector investment is more than 70% of GERD in developed countries, whereas in India it is 36.4. Inadequate enablers. Direct financial support, enablers, enabling environment. The principal was talking about the ecosystem. That ecosystem which will foster innovation, that ecosystem is also lacking in India. Limited collaboration between academia and industry, and this hinders commercialization of research. Whatever research is done in universities, it remains to the reports, it remains confined to the dissertations. Whatever, whenever you are submitting it to the government also, it is not transformed, it is not taken, I don't know whether it's taken seriously or not, so there is limited academic collaboration. And Indian research is skewed towards basic research and lacks application-oriented R&D. Basic research, I must say, is important, no doubt, but also this has to be applied. We have to have translational research as well. It increases only the, most of it is, we are interested in quick acquisition of technology rather than going for application-based research. Then this is important, I want to stress on this, that is what is referred to as the problem of the missing middle. Out of our total enterprises, 1%, out of your total farms, 1% is the middle-sized farm. Why this medium farms is important? The medium farms are important because the small and micro farms do not have the ability to go for innovation. The large farms are already so large, they do not have an incentive to still grow bigger. It is the medium-sized farms which are important. And out of the total farms, only 1% is medium-sized farms. And if you look at the MSME sector, micro, small and medium enterprises, Micro, small and medium enterprises, 97% is micro enterprises, 2.7% is small enterprises, and only 0.3% are medium enterprises. Now, these medium enterprises, we are lacking in India, and very recently, these are the Niti Aayog, Professor Sahu is here. They have prepared a policy as to how to promote the medium enterprises, so that a roadmap has been prepared to promote and to give the incentive, the right incentive to the medium enterprises in order to, this has been correctly perceived and captured by the policymakers, and very recently Niti Aayog has brought out a report to promote these medium enterprises. They have greater agility, flexibility, and also the ability to respond to the stimuli. If there is market indicates something, the large farms and small farms are not as much in a position to respond to this as much as the large enterprises. And there is a lack of risk capital in India. I'll not spend much time here. And high lab, in India we say that lab to land time. When we have something is developed, we have fundamental researchers in BARC, CSIR, DRDO, ICAR and ISRO, etc. But their transformation, for example, we have OUAT in Odisha also. They are developing so many rice brands, but how many of them are being actually cultivated by the farmers in the land? That is, the lab to land time in India is much larger, and this is because of this is maybe because of poor marketing skills or lack of information dissemination. When innovation remains confined to the lab, that becomes problem. And not only do we have a lack of funds, lack of expenditure on R&D, whatever funds are available are not even utilized. That gives a picture of that. Corresponding figures, I mean, some funds are still, whatever funds are allocated also, the whole of it, 100% is not used for, for actual R&D purpose. And hurdles in procuring lab equipment, if you have, for example, I'm serving in a university, we have, government gives us funds to purchase equipments, high-end equipments that too, but we are not very much sure, we're not able to purchase many times, the funds go back or lie unutilized in the accounts because of various reasons, because of the many paperwork that is needed for the purpose. And absence of strong, one important thing is India lacks strong IP laws and enforcement. When you don't have a strong IP law, and having a strong IP law is a necessary condition but not sufficient, because if you have a law but you do not implement it on the ground, that also makes no sense. And what are I will flag off some recent initiatives, setting up of innovation hubs and incubators. Then we have something called the National Initiative for Developing and Harnessing Innovations, that is NIDHI. We have Atal Innovation Mission, MATE Startup Hub, which is basically on, machinery and on IT sector, Uchchatar Aviskar Yojana. Then inculcating, this is a very important Atal Tinkering Labs. In the last budget, Atal Tinkering Labs have been given a huge fillip, and these Atal Tinkering Labs the purpose is to train the child from the school, and Atal Tinkering Lab already has kind of supported laboratories in 10,000 schools, and what they are focusing on is government schools, because these government schools is where most of the students from the underprivileged class and those are not getting the opportunity are coming, and not only in government schools but also in different corners, the far-flung corners of the country. And they're planning that they will take it to 50,000 schools in the next 5 years. Then there is also fueling of startup growth. All this mentorship is being undertaken. So as of July 2025, 1,80,683 startups have been recognized. Remember, India is one of the most vibrant startup hubs, but out of these startups, how many survive and sustain. That is the point. I am not sure, but I have heard somewhere, read somewhere, less than 5% of the startups actually survive. And these are all, they are not only targeting important cities, but also tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Other recent initiatives include the National Research Foundation, very important for universities and teaching institutions like us. It was launched in 23, high level that it leads to, and other major programs, I will flag off some. It is about the Mission for Advanced and High Impact Areas, MAHA. And one more thing I want to talk about is Partnership for Accelerated Innovation and Research, the PAIR program. PAIR program has been developed on a hub and scope model where important and significant institutions will have some handholding with other institutions which are not so advantageously placed. And if I take the example from Odisha, I think Rourkela, the engineering college, National Institute of Technology, is a hub which is mentoring several institutes across, not only across Odisha but also in other states. And Berhampur University has a PAIR program where it has received from PAIR grants from the government. There are other PM's Early Career Research Grant, Advanced Research and all this. I will talk about, these are recent initiatives, these are what we should to do if we want innovation to take roots. We have to finance innovation, obviously. And second is that venture capitalists, there is a shortage of capital, and there is a shortage especially of venture capital and risk capital. And we have to increase access to research and development infrastructure. And there is a need to have developed cluster-based R&D, and universities can and should collaborate. I mean, we cannot have all the laboratories in all universities. For example, if Utkal University has a Raman or a high power computer, then this should be made available to local universities and colleges where people and researchers can come and collaborate. We have to have access to that. Improved collaboration between industry and academia. It will be a win-win situation for both, for the industry as well as academia. Industry can reduce their expenditure, and the academia can have what they need, the patents, the publications and recognitions and all. And this in turn, industry can fund this research. And I will talk about better coordination between stakeholders. Here I will flag off that we need not, there should be the same kind of research, there should be some collaboration between the researchers which are working in different organizations. Everybody need not invent the wheel, as they say. We need to have a collaboration, instead of developing systems in silos, these silos need to be interconnected. And there has to be an ecosystem where we can reverse the bend trend. If you look at the high-tech areas in foreign countries, these are populated by Indians. Why they are going there? The reason is obvious. The ecosystem in our country is not so good. They don't get that opportunity. So that has to be created, and we have to have better awareness and cut the bureaucratic hurdle also. Way forward, we need foreign funding. Foreign funding comes not only with money, it is not only the resources, financial resources, it comes with capital, it also comes with experience and so on. And research-linked incentives. We have production-linked incentives. Exactly along those lines, we can have research-linked incentives and ensuring greater ease of doing research. I come to my concluding slide. I suppose I'm within the time. A culture of innovation. Principal Sir was talking about developing an ecosystem. A culture of innovation. I mean, you cannot just turn the job seekers to job givers overnight. It has to grow over a period of time. We have to give it sufficient time. That kind of environment, that kind of ecosystem, that kind of culture has to be created. And who will create that? It's not the children. It's not the children, the students, the job aspirants who will do that. The top performers in GII, that is Global Innovation Index, they have some common strengths. What are these? R&D intensity, of course we need more expenditure in R&D. We need world-class institutions and most importantly, a strong education system. Look at the education system that we have. If I talk about Odisha, in universities, 50% of the faculty positions are lying vacant. What kind of innovation do you expect from this system? Colleges are worst. One thing is that if you just spend creating world-class institutions, it's not about money alone. It's about creating that kind of system, that knowledge ecosystem, that respect for people who are coming into academia, and also we have to have that kind of knowledge, and we have to have that system where we have people coming to academia and to the research. How many people come to, I teach students in classes, if I ask what you want to see yourself as, what are your career options? Most of them, very few talk about research. Why so? The research ecosystem has to be boosted. Now, if you juxtapose this with this year's Nobel ideas, all these must be facilitated by an enabling mechanism and a strong political will. So what we need is not money alone, we need institutional changes. Last year's Nobel was about institutions. Asimoglu, Johnson and Robinson spoke about development in terms of institutions. Certain kind of institutions lead to development, certain other kinds of institutions hinder development. They have distinguished between extractive and inclusive institutions. We need inclusive institutions where everybody is included, not only India is the fourth largest economy in terms of GDP, size of GDP. What about per capita income? The situation is very bad. What about inequality? They say that the kind of inequality we had prior to independence, the current inequality is higher than that. Why so? Because the benefits of the development and growth has not percolated down. Trickle down has not worked. So that kind of institutions has to be developed. More inclusive institutions so that everybody is a part of the decision-making process and gets a say in deciding policy. And of course, most important, the political will. Given the current scenario, we can and we must achieve and translate the dream of a Vikshit Bharat by 2047. We can do it. We have seen the strengths of India. There are weaknesses, yes. They say that the strongest is the person who knows his weaknesses. So we know our weaknesses, we acknowledge, we know what to do. Only thing is to doing it on the ground. Vikshit Bharat by 2047, only 21 years left, and we want an Utkarsh Odisha by 2036. Is that a dream? Yes, that's a dream. Can it be transferred into action? Yes, it can be if all of us put our hands together. So with this hope, with this dream in our mind, I conclude. Thank you very much for sharing my ideas with you and for the patient hearing. Thank you. Bande Utkal Janani. Bande Mataram. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words. Today, we have another eminent personality, Professor Dr. Prabhakar Sahu, sir, Senior Lead, Niti Aayog, New Delhi. Dr. Prabhakar Sahu is a Program Director at Niti Aayog, heading the Economics and Finance vertical, and also Nodal Officer for Odisha State. Prior to joining Niti Aayog, he was a professor and the course director of the Indian Economic Service Section, Institute of Economic Growth, IEG, Delhi. Dr. Sahu has 23 years of teaching and research experience, and his areas of expertise include microeconomics, international trade and investment, development economics, public finance and infrastructure. During his 23 years of experience, he has worked at many academic and research institutes that include ICRIER, India, Bruegel, Belgium, East-West Center, USA, Asian Development Bank Institute, ADBI, Japan, University of Saitama, Japan, University Antwerp, Belgium, PRI, MOF, Japan, Institute of Developing Economics, Japan, and MSH, France. He has work experience in India, South Asia, Japan, Korea, China, and the US. He has published 3 books and around 100 academic papers in prior reviewed international and national journals. With this, we invite Sir to address today's gathering. Please, Sir.
Good morning, everybody, and a warm welcome. And I think that was a very big introduction for a small man like me. But let me just thank the Maharaj, Parala Maharaj Engineering College, the principal, and it's really happy to be here among the distinguished speakers. I think Professor Chinara has given a very extensive thoughts about the innovation, what are the ecosystem, the limitations, and why we need it. See, I have also a big presentation prepared not by me, but by my team, but I thought to skip it because it's a bit like lengthy, and also I don't have that much of time to talk about it. But when I was looking at the subjects covered in this conference, in the theme, the overall theme, the papers that are selected to be presented over, I think today's, it's all about Viksit Bharat, right? And I'm so happy to be part of this Viksit Bharat team because we at Niti Aayog finalized the numbers, the draft, what is called Viksit Bharat. What is Viksit Bharat? Why do we need to have it? And what is the importance of this? See, look, Viksit Bharat, it's very, very important. Every country has a history, a cycle, an opportunity, and that opportunity is right here, right now for next 25 years. In fact, it's not 25 years, it's 20 years. Let me tell you how. Today, the average Indian age is 29. China is 39. The European countries is 42, 43. You know, Japan is 49. The most of the world is aging. The best endowment we have, in fact, the best endowment the world has is India, because India is a young country where the average age is 29, and it takes 30 years to add 10 years average age. So it will take something like another 25 years to add 10 years to our average age of 29 to become 39. And this is the time, if you lose it forever, because historically there is not a single country where the population which started becoming kind of aging, it has become younger again. What I mean is, the China, which started what is called, enjoying the demographic dividend, the favorable demographics they had starting from early 80s till 2011, 2012. They made use of that. That is where they got consistent growth rate of 10%. We need to make use of this. Today, the working age population, which is close to 64%, it would be reaching 65 very soon, and it would go down starting from 2040. If we don't make use of this, the best opportunity ever, then we will lose it. And that is where this Viksit Bharat, that's fine. That is where this Viksit Bharat. And in Viksit Bharat, what do? We have what is called macro projections, that today where are we and where we want to really achieve. This is what the macro projections, and this macro projections, I'm happy to say that we have made it there. It is 30 trillion economy. And why it is a very kind of very conservative number? Because I prepared the number and I'm not a very aspirational in the sense that something I cannot achieve, I don't make it. People have made 45, 54 billion and all that trillion. We made it 30 trillion. And to get 30 trillion, what you need to do, you need to achieve. In dollar terms, nominal terms, it's 9.1% growth rate every year for next 22 years, right? And so far, over last 10 years, in dollar terms, we have grown, if we include actually in nominal terms, it's close to 8.1%. So from 8.1, we can always achieve 9.1 for next 21 years to reach 30 trillion economy. That is $18,000 per capita income. How does it matter? It matters because 18,000 per capita income will take us to the higher income categories. It is not going to be the advanced economy as people misrepresent or misunderstand. It's not advanced economy. See, the World Bank defines or categorizes different countries in the higher income countries, middle income countries, lower income countries, and there are income ceilings actually which makes a country part of these groups. Now it is close to $14,000, and every year the way they are revising the ceilings for countries to become part of these higher income countries, it would be reaching $17,000 by 2047, and we will have 18,000 per capita income. That will take us to the higher income countries. Now the question is, because this conference is all about Viksit Bharat, why do we need to have a deep dives pathways to achieve that? Unless until you have a target, you always miss out. In developing countries like India, where the resources are limited, and then the aspirations are very high, people actually do need, they do demand. It's kind of an entitlement society. If I'm born here, I need to have this. And you have resources limited. So you need to have plans, you need to have pathways, you need to have roadmaps. It's okay. You want to really run 100 kilometers, it's possible that you may not really achieve 100 kilometers, but at least you will run 80 kilometers. If you don't have that, what you do is you leave the economy on an autopilot mode, and that does not leave you anywhere. Every country, they had some kind of systematic, I'll tell you, it's very fascinating actually. It's not only Viksit Bharat, and you are talking about skilling, you are talking about the innovation. These are the fundamental pillars of this, what you call Viksit Bharat. In fact, historically, I can just go on telling, the innovation that started in what is called England, the United Kingdom, very early, the early industrialization took place, then it spread to Europe, and then to other countries, US, then Japan, then Southeast Asia, now it is China, and today all that is that fighting going on between the US and China, it is not about trade deficit, let me be very clear. It is about supremacy. It's a fight over supremacy. Who is really controlling what is called the military power, the technology, because today you really don't need a large army and all sorts. It's all innovation. You can see today, it's all the drone war. It's a pilot-less war. It is all about what is called innovation. It's the technology-driven world. In fact, here why it is so important to talk about innovation. We are all students of economics. I don't know how many of you are from economics. We start the growth theories. What are the drivers of the growth? The first one we start with, the systematic growth theory. It's the solo growth theory, where it tells that your change in growth, it's because the share of capital multiplied by the change in capital, the share of labor multiplied by basically contribution of capital, contribution of labor, whatever is left out, that is called innovation or technical progress or productivity-led growth. But he concluded that since the higher income countries will have more capital, the rate of return on capital would be lower. The capital would be flying from higher income countries to the lower income countries where the capital is scarce or limited. The rate of return on capital would be higher in the lower income countries. That is where the lower income countries would be catching up with the higher income countries. That in economics we call as the convergence. and that is because of the two reasons. One is he assumed what is called constant return to scale. What is constant return to scale? If you double the inputs, then the output actually becomes double. The second condition, where he actually assumed that the law of diminishing marginal productivity is applicable to capital. Higher the capital, lower the marginal productivity. But both the things are not applicable, like when Romar and others, they thus look at that higher income countries, instead of having lower growth rates, they had higher growth rates compared to developing countries and lower income countries. That is because of the two reasons that are violated. One is there is no constant return to scale in India. It's not India, across the countries. That is because of the technological improvement. It implies that if you double the inputs, your output actually doesn't become double. It becomes more than double. So it's an increasing return to scale. That is where the role of technology. You just see what is happening. The longevity of the products, the life cycle of the products, it's decreasing every day. The products we are using today, maybe it would disappear after 2 years. And it is disappearing much faster than ever. That is where the role of innovation, and of course in the Viksit Bharat documents that is prepared at the Niti Aayog, we focus a lot on innovation. And the government of India has started its Auto Innovation Scheme, then incubators. I believe there is Mr. Dipam Sahu, he is here, he would talk about it. So innovation is absolutely important for productivity-led growth that would enable us to reach 30 trillion, $18,000 per capita economic country by this. Now I'll just talk a little bit, 2-3 minutes about where do we stand today. Is it possible for us actually to achieve this? Today, India is not only it's having the highest growth rate among the top 10 economies in the world. We have grown. In fact, it is the automotive of the world economy. We have grown on an average 6.4% compared to 3.3% for the world. It's almost the double. I think, 26% of the world growth comes from India. India is the automotive. It's the engine of world economy today. We are doing very well. When it comes to the external sector, we are absolutely solid in terms of foreign exchange reserves. If you look at what you call the share of external debt as percentage of GSDP, almost all indicators we are doing well. When it comes to the fiscal stance, we are absolutely fine. We are going to reach 4.5% fiscal deficit this year. When it comes to the monetary policy, the price level, we are doing so well because, there was a time 10 years back, the inflation rate used to be 11-12%. On an average, we have really hold on to inflation targeting plus and minus, that's 2%, inflation targeting 4% plus and minus 2%. And most of the times, except during the COVID period, we have managed to have inflation actually within that band. I'll tell you why is it important, because price stability, it affects everybody. It's like human body. In macroeconomics, what we call it, it just reflects the health of the economy. The first thing actually you will notice, if you are not keeping good health, the temperature will fluctuate. The price level is like a temperature for the economy. If you are doing well or you're not doing well, there is a mismatch or kind of discrepancy between the demand and supply side factors. That is where it gets reflected in the price level. And that we have been doing very well. In fact, during the COVID and after that, we have managed it so well. So overall, when it comes to the growth, when it comes to the macroeconomic fundamentals, whether under fiscal front, monetary policy, whether the financial sector or external sector, India has been doing very well. So it has created a base. Now we need to accelerate that, add couple of percentage more growth rates to the existing growth rate or what you call current growth rate of around 7%. That would take us to what is called Viksit Bharat. And we cannot lose this because, as I told you, it comes once only for a country. In lifespan of a country, it comes only once. If we don't do it this time, then we can never do it or never get back this. So that is where this Viksit Bharat is very important. And again, I'll go back to this entrepreneurship, that Viksit Bharat. Entrepreneurship is the absolutely what you call the fundamental to the development or growth history. As I told that industrialization started in UK, straight to Europe, Japan and other countries. It's all about entrepreneurship because they are the wealth creators, they are the job creators. If they are not there, then nothing happens. How do they do it? The entrepreneurship happens actually just using, the innovation is the one way to do it. Professor Tinar actually, made some valid points. We are not doing really great when it comes to the R&D, expenditure. In fact, it has slowed down from 0.7% to 0.64%. And it is not only the resources. I think she was right when she made the points, even the principal made the point, that it's an ecosystem. For example, let me tell you the IPR ecosystem. You are all like, students, scholars. Somebody is spending years to develop a formula. Now he goes to the patent office, and patent office takes like 4 years, 5 years. By then somebody else would have got the patent on that formula. So innovation actually, it takes lot more time, takes lot more risks actually. So somebody needs to have that appetite, and that appetite you can have provided that the innovator is protected, and there is an incentive for the innovation. Okay, fine, I have a formula, I develop it. Where do I go? Do I get finance for that? Somebody who would do the marketing, somebody would produce it, right? That ecosystem actually we are yet to develop. That is where actually it's not only the money as such, it is the finance, it is the whole mechanisms actually starting from the conceptualization to the final product or the final delivery. And there are a lot of pillars on the basis of which actually it happens, that whole mechanism gets completed. That we are yet to develop. That is where actually, in fact, it's a responsibility for everybody. The private sector, she had a number, it's very interesting. It is only 36% of our total R&D expenditure comes from the private sector. In fact, sometimes I get scared, I should not be telling this, that in India, that our manufacturers have become the traders. Instead of producing, they are selling. You just go to, you open any product. See, this simple air conditioner. You just open it. 9 out of 10 products you would see that made in X, Y, Z and mostly in China. So 9 out of 10 products you are getting and doing it here. Because we don't actually have that patience that, okay, years or billions of dollars spending on R&D to develop that. But without that actually, it would be very difficult to compete because it's all innovation-led growth. Today it's all about innovation-led growth. If you are not on the frontier of technologies, you will lose out. Today what is happening? Between US and China, the war is not about the trade deficit. It's all about supremacy. Who wants the most critical technologies, because that would change the world. Anyway, the next part I wanted to tell about the skilling. Why do we need to really focus on skilling? Again, as I told you, this is the one time or, only one opportunity we have. And that is the young or what you call manpower. The endowment India has, no other country or continent has it. We need to use it. And that is where we need to focus on skilling. Skillings can be at different layers, at a different level. Somebody is in agriculture, we cannot expect that person to be part of really high-tech frontier technologies, very high intensive, capital intensive. Somebody can be trained, vocational training, so that that person with very negligible or marginal productivity. For example, 5 people actually working on 5 hectares of land, if you take out 3 people out of that family, nothing happens. The 2 people actually can manage 5 hectares of land. So these 3 people are there in those families with negligible or almost no productivity. So these people actually need to move away. If you want a balanced society, they need to actually be part of the manufacturing, because they don't have that kind of education and skills to be what you call part of the services-led growth, because it needs certain level of skilling and education. And these people in agriculture, they can only be part of. So when we talk about the large population or the labor force, they need to be trained, basically vocational training, so that their productivity actually goes up. But there are different types of scaling that are required if you want to be part of this bigger global value chain, the world that is really moving much faster. The R&D expenditure, both by public and private sector. In fact, India, it's not about the scaling, it's about getting the synergy. We have R&D by the private sector, by government, by semi-government. They are tiny, they are small. So we don't get that synergy actually. For example, you would find it in India. There are something like 100 research organizations. I'm talking about the social science, for example. So X is working on infrastructure issue, Y is working on infrastructure, Z is working on infrastructure. It's almost like everybody is touching one part of an elephant. And nobody visualizes whether it is an elephant or a tiger. So somewhere actually we need to really scale up, and the scale up can be done just bringing synergy. Of course, that is much more easier today. In fact, when we are talking about the innovation and skilling, what surprises me most of the times, look, at Niti Aayog, whenever there is a recruitment, or we hire lot of people, lot. And almost every week, sometimes we spend for employment, this is what I find. 9 out of 10 times, we don't get people with required skills. We don't get people those who know how to do the work. People keep telling that no, there is no availability of job, but are we ready for it? Are we ready for it? There was, sometimes back, there was physical disabilities. What I mean physical disabilities, when I was doing PhD, I used to travel actually, taking a second-class sleeper train ticket, going to Delhi, standing in front of the professors' rooms in JNU, in Delhi school, in all good places. It is something like 30 years back, because the internet was not available. All that what you get right in front of you today, that was not there. Just going to these people, because they were actually sitting on the frontier of knowledge in the domain areas. Just listening to professors for 10 minutes and waiting for days actually to get those 10 minutes. These barriers are gone. Even all the students, I'm just telling you, if you are thinking that, okay, you are here in Parala Maharaj College, not in Harvard, don't think in any way you are less, because these barriers are gone. The class notes, the class lectures, and all these best of professors or technical, the experts, it's all there in front of you, but it depends how you are going to use it. Are you really using it to improve your skills, improve your knowledge, improve your expertise, or you are watching some reels, it is up to you. But it's just one time. If you don't do it today, tomorrow somebody would take away that. I always tell many people, actually, they keep telling, sir, can I come and discuss? And always my first answer is, why do you want to discuss? Why do you want to come? Tell me. I'm nobody. I tell there's a lot of bigger gurus available right here, whether you are in a remote part of the country or anywhere, in fact. I remember there was a girl actually from Purbanchal. That's not a very developed part of UP. So during the interview, I saw there is something spectacular, because I know the universities from this, what you call region, that Purbanchal region of UP, they don't cover very high level econometrics. Then somebody just asked, and it is a very difficult question in the sense it is about general methods of movements, which is little higher even for Indian students. And somebody comes from the, what you call, that pocket where econometrics is not covered that well. And she was answering. And of course, she was not she was not speaking so well in English and all that. This is all fine. So I started giving her kind of, more and more. You tell, how did you do this? How did you do this? How did you do this? Can you believe? She comes from the college where econometrics, there is no teacher in econometrics. There is no course in econometrics. But she has done the GMM, the very higher level, for a postgraduate students. So after the interview, of course, I had to fight with the panel because she is the one, and she's doing well, and today she's in a foreign land. She's in a foreign university. Right. So after the interview, I just asked her that how could you get it? How could you do it? It was like she used to spend 7 hours actually learning that. It's her passion. The point I'm trying to make is, always don't depend that, okay, this X, that Y, there are limitations, government is not doing that, government is not doing that. No. I'm telling you, 9 out of 10 times we don't get people when we need it. People talk about n number of things. But are you ready for it? Sometimes we get students, they would be talking n number of things, but you go little deeper. They just go mad like everything is lost in the world. My simple suggestions to all of you, because this is all about Viksit Bharat, and you are all our Viksit Bharat. You are the agents of change. And today, how much time you spend on, or spending, spend on what you call improving your knowledge, your skills, that would decide not only your career, that would decide our country's future as well. So when it comes to whether you are going to get a job in a big company or you are going to be an entrepreneur, for that what you need to is, you need to really improve your knowledge base, the skill sets, and keep your eyes and ears open. The world is getting very, very dynamic. Today, sometimes back, the B.Tech and M.Tech, I'm not taking the names, in certain streams were hugely demanded. Today there is no need of that. It's changing very fast, and you need to really be on your toes, matching, aligning your expertise, aligning your skills with the requirement of the world. And that is where it will make you not only an innovator, it will help you to become the entrepreneur, it will improve your skills, and all these are fundamentals without which we cannot really make India as the Viksit Bharat. I'll stop here and wish you all the best, and once again, thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. Today we have with us Honorable Professor Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty, sir, former Vice Chancellor BPUT Odisha as the chief guest of today's event ICEVB 2025. Dr. Omkar Nath Mohanty sir is a distinguished metallurgical engineer and academic leader with a career spanning several decades across research, industry and academia. He holds PhD in Materials Engineering from the University of Karlsruhe, Germany, and advanced degrees in Metallurgical Engineering from IIT Kharagpur. Dr. Mohanty currently serves as Director of Technology and Academic Initiative at IRSB Group and held prominent roles such as Tata Research Professor at IIT Kharagpur and Director at the Institute of Materials and Minerals Technology. He is a Fellow of the National Academy of Sciences, former Chair of large international collaborations and has contributed extensively to material science domains, especially in advanced steel and non-ferrous alloys automotive materials. With over 170 publications, one authored book, several chapters and 17 patents, his research covers rapid solidification, forging grade steel,
Very good afternoon. It's almost a junction now to say whether good morning or good afternoon. Probably I've just surpassed the morning session and therefore it is good afternoon. Be that as it may, morning or afternoon, welcome to, I say welcome to this International Conference on Entrepreneurship and Viksit Bharat. Since the morning we have been listening to some very interesting talks by distinguished speakers, and I don't think I have much to add in terms of information which we have been gathering since the morning. And they are very vital information as far as this workshop, seminar is concerned, international conference is concerned. When I received this invitation from the organizers, I immediately thought to myself that what are my choices to say yes or no. Then immediately I thought that I have some emotional attachment to this college, which is the Parla Maharaja Engineering College. My memory went back to the time when I was in charge of the university. And the then Chief Minister wanted that the college must come up in Barampur, and that is how I was instrumental in setting up, in a way, this college. And that happened in 2009, so that the first batch perhaps came out in 2013. By then I had left the university. But there is a bit of paradox, and probably today's seminar is connected somewhere, or conference. And the paradox was, this very land which we procured from the government of Odisha, that was taken back from Tata Steel. And very odd it might sound, that I was a part of Tata Steel as the Director of Research and Development for 10 years, and we were setting up a steel plant here in Gopalpur. And the land belonged to Tata Steel, and I had come here several times in search of land on behalf of Tata Steel, because the problem was that the Keuda was being, the Keuda farmers, they were being uprooted, and that is how the agitation was going on. So my responsibility then was to go to some of the research labs in the country and to find out, can we have better species of the Keuda which can be planted here? And lo and behold, within 2 years, I come back here to take that land back from Tata Steel and then into the university and to the college. So here I am. I feel very proud there was yet another reason why I felt impelled, as it were, to come here. And that happened about 3 weeks back. Professor Chittaranjan Mahanti, was it 3 weeks or 4 weeks back? I read a news item somewhere, the Prime Minister mentioning Parala Maharaja Engineering College when it came to the chips development in the country. And so give them a big hand. So the moment I saw that, I said, my God. So this is how the growth should take place. So the young students who are here, you do not have to look at anywhere else to begin with. Look at your own self. You have done it. And you can always do it in the future. So this is how I would begin. The other important thing, of course, is that whenever we talk of entrepreneurship and so on, the first thing that comes to your mind is, I think, very important facts have been added. How entrepreneurship is not looked upon, as the principal said, as a preferred career by the students for various reasons. One of the things which I gathered during my own career, having traversed from IIT Kharagpur for long years teaching to National Metallurgical Laboratory CSIR for another 10 years, which is a Government of India research lab, having been the directors there or director scientist there, and then coming to a private company which is revered, or those days used to be revered, called Tata Steel, and which is here for the past more than 100 years. So moving through this, it also happened to me that I moved from Tata Steel back to IIT Kharagpur as a Tata research professor. It's not about what Omkar Mohanty did or did not do. It is about the industry-academia interaction that we have been talking about. For the first time in this country, Ratan Tata decided that with the IITs, the Tata group should have also interaction, so that the so-called Tata chairs and so on, which were remaining vacant for many years actually. Why should somebody go? Why should somebody go to a Tata chair, for example, somewhere else? I want to give you an example here. When MIT started collaboration in Singapore with the National University of Singapore, NSU, there are a number of excellent Indian professors. One of them became the president of the National Science Foundation of US. And people like him would not move to Singapore, because for 1 year if they go, or 6 months, they are losing so much of money and so many students and so on and so forth. So what is there for a industry to gain when you send somebody to IIT or any other academic institution for that matter? So people are not going, so these positions are all vacant. So what did he do? He did a kind of innovation. What he said is, if there is a chair at IIT Kharagpur, and if they find Omkar Mohanty suitable, let them take him, and we shall pay for him, so that the salary will continue from the industry, A, and it became incumbent upon the IIT to provide me with students for doing their PhDs, and provide a space for me, and research facilities. And I immediately jumped at it, because I thought this is the best of both worlds, the industry and academia. And these models, it was only, it started with me. Subsequently, I know Jitu Singh from HR, he went to XLRI, Xavier Institute. To IIT Bombay, somebody went from, again, Tata Chemicals, and so on and so forth. So what happens is, the industry-academia interaction is a very important one. And when I came back to IIT Kharagpur after 20 long years of gap, what did I do? I thought of setting up a steel research center. With Government of India, Ministry of Steel, we set up a steel research center worth about 39 crores. And why in IIT Kharagpur? Because there are so many disciplines. So today, when you think of manufacturing, the manufacturing is not about a metallurgical engineer, mechanical engineer, electronics, economist, physicist. It is about everything together. Because when you have a component like automotive, for example, I'm in the automotive industry now. For the past 15 years, we have been manufacturing automotive transmission components, like gears, propeller shafts, axles, and so on, for trucks as well as cars, and earth movers, and also tractors. And in 15 different places, we manufacture these. I want to start the story there. Because this company, RSB, is by an Odia entrepreneur. And this Odia entrepreneur migrated from Tangi, near Cuttack. the first generation entrepreneurs. If there is something for all of you to learn. The first generation entrepreneur, this family moves to Jamshedpur, and they are a poor family almost. And there are 6 brothers, and the eldest brother is a mechanical engineer from the local engineering college. He asked his father that I want to start something. He got a job in Tata Motors in Jamshedpur. He said, no, I don't want to join the job. I want to start something on my own. The father said, I can only lend you or give you 40,000 rupees. So he lent 40,000 rupees, and he got some money from somewhere else. Today, the company is not very big, but the company is 4,000 crore plus. And that they started 50 years back. Today they are on their 51st year. So this company we started 50 years back with 40,000 rupees and the rest loan, today is 4,000 crores. They would have been operating at 10,000 crores had it not been for the fact that the aluminum industry for which they came to India, to Odisha, that didn't materialize because Vedant got that mines. So what it shows is, as was also told by several speakers before me, the will is very important. The will to succeed in the automotive industry. But within the industry itself, this is another thing I want to tell you. 50 years they have existed, and they think they have done reasonably well from 40,000 rupees to 4,000 crores. But we ask the chairman and his group, why not 10,000 crores or 15,000 crores? Because the Tatas say that every 3 years you have to double. So what went wrong there? We found the innovation. When we started in Tata Steel as the director of R&D, I found in 97 years, and maybe this is a piece of information, we have two distinguished speakers before me. We had Professor Mitali Chinara. I've been your admirer always for your voice. Now I'm also an admirer for your brain, because both in economics and in singing, you have made a big name. So I feel very happy that we're here. I feel very happy also for Dr. Prabhakar Sahu, who is the program director of Niti Aayog. We are very proud. We feel proud that at least somebody from Odisha is there who is controlling quite a few things in the Niti Aayog. But is Niti Aayog controlling India? That's the question I ask myself, having been associated with the Government of India's CSIR labs for so many years, where we claim there are 2,000 crore industries, 2,000 crore worth of industries in the past 15 years. I don't have to give them. This is not known to most of the people. As Dr. Chinara very rightly said, how many varieties of rice have gone to the farmers? I know that at least 10 varieties have gone. I also know, when I listen to the Indian radios, that the farmers do get some information. Whether they get all the information, I do not know. But I was trying to say something else. What I tried to say was, I have raised the voice within our company that 50 years you have run and run quite well for the Indian industry you have been supplying. The next 50 years is going to be very different. The next 50 years is going to be different, and you cannot run the same way as you have been running. So that's the reason why when Dr. Chinara talked about, you talked about Joel Mukher, half of the Nobel Prize went to him. The other half was split between the other two economists, and of course, they are Philippe Aghion, a French name, has been associated with INSEAD, and incidentally, I did my MBA also from INSEAD, from CIDEP, in Fontainebleau, which is about 80 kilometers southwest of Paris. And I knew there were good professors there. I think I must have met him sometime. But he or Peter Hoyt from the Brown University, when they talk of what you said, quite rightly, because it is their words, the creative destruction. The creative destruction was known. We have always been talking about disruptive technologies. The creative destruction is that. I remember for 11 years on my table in Tata Steel, I had a small placard like that. On that placard, it was written, kill your product or else somebody else will. Kill your product, else somebody else will. This is what I had in front of me. For 10 years I had. I recall then that in the Radio Club of America, RCA, in the early 40s, when the television was into the market and the whole company was in a sense of euphoria, they were celebrating it in the ground floor, in the first floor and the second floor. On the second floor, 5 or 6 people, they had congregated, and they were not a part of this celebration. They were in the process of killing their own product. What were they thinking of? They were thinking of a colored television within a stipulated period so that we can replace the black and white television. This is what is innovation all about. You cannot sit on your laurels for long. This is what is important. So what we find today with Government of India's kind of, the kind of information that we see today, it is very impressive, no question about it. It was only yesterday that somebody in NDTV was showing all the 4 or 5 metropolitan cities in India, how they get waterlogged, particularly Bangalore, that has suffered only recently, and Delhi, starting with Gurgaon and other places. On 23rd, I was myself in Kolkata. 23rd, suddenly when I woke up at the Central Glass and Research, I was at CGCRI guest house in Jadavpur area. Central Glass and Ceramic Research Institute, one of the topmost laboratories of the CSR. I found that 3 feet of water around me. But it was another matter that the Chief Minister of Bengal got it all right. The next day, on 24th, everything became orderly then, streamlined. What I was trying to tell you is, this NDTV journalist was asking a very important question. The important question was, who is paying for the cities? Obviously, you and me, we pay. And therefore, he was asking, don't we have a right to ask the government that in spite of or notwithstanding the fact that we have been supporting, what has gone wrong in the city planning in this country? Why is it that in a place like Gurgaon, you have so many obstructions if we think of the future? Anyway, so there are questions only which I can raise. I was talking about Kolkata. On the 23rd, there was a deluge, and therefore I was struck there. But the director of the laboratory, a young guy, material scientist from Institute of Science, Bangalore, Dr. Bikramjit Basu, he's a Bhatnagar Award winner. Next day, he said, we have a CSR Foundation Day. The Foundation Day of CSR is actually 26th of September, but they were holding it in Kolkata on the 24th because there are 40 laboratories. They can't all go to Delhi, so they were celebrating it separately. In that meeting, the 3 people on the stage, the director of the laboratory obviously was there, Bikramjit Basu, the director of the IACS, Indian Association for Cultivation of Science, India's oldest scientific organization. If I ask this gathering, why is IACS famous? Can somebody raise his hand and tell me why? Not only is it the oldest scientific organization, this is a place where the redoubtable Sir C.V. Raman discovered his Raman effect. And the same C.V. Raman was a 19-year-old audit officer. As a deputy accountant general, having topped India, he goes to his own office only to be told by the security, you can't enter today because we are getting our new chief. So today is a very special day, and he is attired, his headgear and everything is attired so well that you can't actually enter today because our chief is entering. Little did he know that this 19-year-old boy was the chief. He was the chief. He came to the building to join that day. But that C.V. Raman, whenever he was going in the tram, he saw something, and he was quite struck by that. What did he see? He found Indian Association of Cultivation of Science. You talk of cultivation of rice or cultivation of wheat or cultivation of fish. When have you heard about cultivation of science? So, IACS current director, Dr. Maiti, young guy, another Bhatnagar Award winner, was seated there. But the third person struck me. The third person, A, was a lady, Dr. Sanghamitra Bandyopadhyay. Maybe some of you know this name. Dr. Sanghamitra Bandyopadhyay is the director of the ISI Kolkata. Indian Statistical Institute, Calcutta. I feel very bad because we have an Institute of Mathematics in Bhubaneswar. For about 6 years, I tried that it should actually come up. It is languishing. It is languishing today with the government. Like the Institute of Physics, until it came to CSIR, no, not CSIR, to Atomic Energy Commission and became Institute of Physics, or NISA. But here it is, ISI was to take over this institute, Institute of Mathematics. They were not allowed to because it's called Odisha Institute of Mathematics. The Odisha name will go. So placing the pride in the wrong places is something which I wanted to say. But Sangamitra Bandyopadhyay is a Bhatnagar Award winner, an Infosys Award winner, a Padma Shri, and is a fellow of all scientific organizations. She was talking about the artificial intelligence and how people have actually misunderstood. As a matter of fact, here was a very senior officer, and because he was senior, possibly he made this statement to me about 3-4 months back. In Hindi, he said, ये देखिए ना, ये आजकल artificial intelligence ही बहुत ही जरूरी हो गया है. ये natural intelligence जैसे आप और हम, ये natural intelligence is not very important. Little did he know that there is nothing artificial about artificial intelligence. We all know that. Artificial intelligence is based on the human experience. It is based on empirical science. It is based on a lot of data, and that is how you do it. And that's what Sangamitra Bandyopadhyay, Dr. Bandyopadhyay talked about. Incidentally, ISI director in Kolkata is also the director of 5 other ISIs. But Odisha, we did not give this because the Odisha name will be dropped. So the sense of pride is very important, but pride in the wrong place is not very important. That is what is there. I can see in front of me the firebrand Dr. Anita Sabat, who I admire. And because people like her, they have placed the pride of Odisha in the right place. And starting with the pride, I may differ with some of the people who are present here, but in spite of that, I want to raise the economists a question. The question is this. Look up your data in the 16th century, 17th century, up to 18th century. India was accounting for 17 to 20% of the total economy of the world. Comes 20th century beginning, and then India becomes independent. By then, we were down to about 1.5%. That's what we are today. So it is not a fact that in the Muslim period or the Mughal period, we were poor. We were, in terms of technology, quite important. And I want to also tell you something very important in that connection, extension of that. It is a misnomer. First of all, it is a misnomer that UK was never the center of industrial revolution. Europe was the center. Yes, we all know that Europe was the center, which is why, since I did my degree in Germany, I want to tell you that the Germans would not say a blast furnace, a blast furnace. They would say a blast furnace, Hochofen, a high furnace, because they don't have to call it by the English name, because they were a part of the industrial revolution. They have done also similar things. They have developed also similar things. Part one. So all that happened in Europe, we are aware of that. I want to share, because I am in an engineering college, and all of you, there is a metallurgy department here, mechanical department here, chemistry also. So I want to share this part. What way is here? 4 years back, the Mayor of Rana, he has instituted 14 awards. One of them went 2019 to a British scientist. His name is Paul Craddock. Craddock. Paul was getting that year's Mayor Rana award. Why? Because he had worked in Indian metallurgy and heritage metals for 35 years. In Rajasthan, in the Jawar mines, as well as in the Damascus source, areas which are very close to me, because I have done some work. We are doing, by the way, some work on Konarak today. The Konarak iron beams for the past 5 years, and the Delhi iron pillar for several years. What I am trying to tell you is, these are examples where the Indians actually excelled. Not only excelled, they were superior to anyone in the whole world. So Paul did his work in Rajasthan, zinc. The young students who are present here, I don't have to tell you, the moment you make zinc from the ore, you would smelt it. And the temperature is in the order of about 900 degrees centigrade, 850, 900. That is also the temperature at which the vaporization of the zinc takes place. So that means the moment you take the zinc as a metal, it will vaporize. The whole world did not know how to make it, which is why zinc metal development did not take place. Until about 1,000 years back, when in Rajasthan, our ancestors thought of a very innovative technology. What was the technology? They put the retort instead of top to the front, they put the bottom of the mouth downwards. And so that zinc, after the vapor comes out, it will come downwards. And this was connected with another vessel, clay vessel. That clay vessel actually was cooled from outside. So therefore, this zinc vapor will go there and it will collect there as zinc metal. Not 1 kilogram, 2 kilograms, not just 1 ton, several hundred tons. If you go to Jawar mines today, you will find retards and retards and retards. So much so that Hindustan Zinc Limited, when they started their headquarters and R&D in Vizag, they took some of these retards in their museum and placed it there. It is another matter. They are not practicing the same technology today. Technology has changed. But what I wanted to say was, the world knew that here was the technology. So what did Paul Craddock, I come back. What did Paul Craddock write? These are his words, not mine. You can read that. A British saying this. India was the center of industrial revolution in the world. A man who comes from Sheffield University, where I went, and he said, I spoke to my British counterparts, the scientists, that India was the center of technology. They said, no. They were producing at gram level. You can't call it technology. He had to show them photographs that these are retards kilometers after kilometers, tons after tons. And then he finally said, if they are biased, I can't change that. What I wanted to tell you, the bottom line of that is, India was great in technology. We were great in economy. Today, if you are the fourth great economy, yes, we compliment ourselves and Government of India. But I always feel with a sense of pinch that in that economy part, there is a population which is multiplied. So I increase the population also, I will get an effect. The moment I talk of per capita, I see myself as 165th in 190 countries. That's what Professor Chinara was talking about when you talked about percolation of the benefits. So ladies and gentlemen, we have to remember, I was somewhat hoping to hear, but I did not. What I did not hear was, try as you may, whatever you may do, you may talk of technology, innovation, even if the Nobel Prize and the creative destruction of Havit, or Mukhi talking about technological progress, giving you the high economy. One thing all of us have realized in this hall and outside, climate change. Any chemist worth his salt will tell you in a climate change graph, configuration against the free energy, we are past the peak. What it means, what it essentially means is, possibly you cannot reverse it. Any scientist will tell. You cannot reverse it. What you can change is the kinetics. The kinetics tell you how fast you will fall south. How fast are you falling south, meaning downwards. That change you can perhaps do, for which we have some time maybe, right now. So 1.4 degrees centigrade is what the world is clamoring. Now we are touching it, we'll go above that. So therefore, the climate change, how do you manage the climatic disasters must also be integrated into the entire program. That's what, it's not also just me. The whole world is telling this. So we are talking of climate, we are talking of society, we are talking of economy. 4 years back, we brought one of the greatest economists. He's knocking at the door of Nobel Prize, but he has not got yet. I am referring to Jean Drèze. John Drace is an economist the whole world knows as a development economist. Where does he work? He works in the forests of Ranchi. He works in the forests of Ranchi and he stays with the tribals, he eats with them, lives with them. I brought him to Bhubaneswar. He doesn't go to any meetings. When he heard that Gopinath Mohanty's memorial lecture is going to take place, that's my father, he somehow agreed. The interesting aspect is, it is same John Drace who wrote a lovely article in the Hindu. It says, Indo-US nuclear treaty. Is it amongst the equals, or it is a kind of slavery? And when I went through that article, I was more surprised. First two columns are about an Odia novel. John Drace's article about Indo-US nuclear treaty is talking about an Odia novel, first two columns. And that is about Paraja by Gopinath Mohanty. That why? Because the Jamindar and the tribal also has a treaty. But in that treaty, the tribal is not an equal. Also there is a treaty because he has given a chick. He has given the money for the chick and he has lost his entire land. So he came. When he came, then of course I read more about John Drace. If you, D-R-E-Z-E, I want to tell this essentially because of the fact this man is no ordinary man. You go to Delhi School of Economics, find out the three distinguished professors. One of them died recently. We are talking of Manmohan Singh, is a distinguished professor. Amartya Sen is a distinguished professor of economics there. And the third name is John Drace. John Drace is a Belgian, has become an Indian today, practically. John Drace has been jailed also. So, the point is, he is the father of RTI, I was told so. I didn't know until then. Today he is fighting, essentially, he is actually mobilizing the tribals in Jharkhand, essentially for right to food, for RTI. So therefore, making food available to a growing population is going to be another challenge, another big challenge. So last two points I want to make, and I will finish up there. So the other thing is, I want to also bring to your another thing. You and me, we are not driving gas anymore, car. Even driving a Toyota or whatever. But time was when I was young, when my father also did not have or ambassador. girls and boys. There is Jaguar and this is do it. So I want to now conclude with 2 or 3 points. Another interesting point. The interesting point was here is 7,000 people in Jamshedpur in the stadium. The medium management people, Dr. Irani is addressing them, the medium level officers, and then suddenly a hand went up. कुछ question पूछ सकता हूँ साहब? बराबर पूछिए. So our Parsi chief what did I do in the past year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or 5 years? है ना टाटा स्टील में और दूसरा जगह ये कह रहे हैं क्यों रखें आपको क्यों रखें आपको it got absolutely etched in my mind till today. I have done 30,000 kilometers of road. I have built, let us say, 500 aeroplanes and blah, blah, blah. Drones I built, etc. But the point is, has it made an iota of difference around me? Then only and only then can you say, क्यों रखें आपको? अगर आप नहीं करते जो आप किए कर चुके हो, क्या फर्क पड़ता? This is what people will say. This is what people they are going to say. So therefore, it's very important for us also that we must know that whatever we are doing, as I think Dr. Sahu said very rightly, if I have a target, if I'm moving, then what happens is you go to Jindal Steel today or to Tata Steel, you will find a board there. Every day the board says, my target was this, I achieved this. That is not fall. Do we declare that today? We have to declare it. Ladies and gentlemen, whatever we do ourselves, today we know that the Operation Sindoor took place. I'm not talking about who won, who lost, etc. I'm talking about technology. When the Prime Minister talked about the private sector contributing on the drones, my heart swelled with joy. Because I knew that in Bhubaneswar we have the second largest manufacturer of drone. Anita is right here. She is a symbol of Odishan pride. Not just Odishan pride. She is able to hold our own, not just Rasagolla. She is somehow identified only with Rasagolla. People don't understand. Dr. Chinara talked about WIPO. I must have been to WIPO office 5 times. Because in 1994, when I came to Tata Steel, I found they had 47 patents in 97 years. So all I'm trying to tell you is, we started a revolution within Tata Steel, and by the time I was leaving, 10 years after, we were making about 50. Today, how many patents they make? They make about 120 patents. How many patents may Mahindras make? About 180 to close to 200 patents. So the private sector has started actually working quite well. But the whole point is, making patents and making the country economically also advanced and taking care of climate change is a big challenge which we have to do. So basically, IPR is very important, but the last thing is, I am conscious of the fact that I am in an educational institute. If we talk of only innovation, here will it serve? or the innovative mind will have to be ignited, as it were, in the school level. So with a story I will end. I used to go to the fish market of Bhubaneswar long back. And I used to go, this is perhaps a little bit added and exaggerated. And with me, some German friends or the American friends who typically come, I will take them there. And with them, they will have their child. We go to the fish market, we purchase about 400 grams of fish, and a mother and a small child would sit there. The child is bare-bodied, 400 kilograms of fish we have purchased. It is, let us say, 40 rupees a kilo, and now the 400 kilograms has to be calculated. So I would typically ask the German boy, who would be 8 years old, how much is this? We feel is thus. In German, I would ask. He would take out his computer. By that time, the bare-bodied boy sitting beside his mother has come out spat with the answer. There is a lot of truth in this. Even today this happens. Even today this happens. Comes out. So what do you feel? You feel that my child here, this fisherman's child is very bright. Passes 25 years. After these 25 years, this young German boy is a part of NASA in US. I take him there. When I take him there, yes, there is a promotion. The mother is not there. The boy has become a man. He is still cutting the fish. He is still selling the fish. And still, his child is able to come out with an answer for 400 grams. What is the price? What has gone wrong? What has gone wrong is placing the priorities in the wrong place. 20 years have passed. How many years must we wait? 78 years we have waited. How many more years would we wait before we see that the people will have a will, and that will take over? This is what I want to say. Schools, colleges, medical colleges, the moment I start, I will say world class. Do I know what world is? I make Ravenshaw University the world class. Do I know what world is? I have to know what world is. I'm not trying to decry our own institutions. I'm fully aware that I am a product of Ravenshaw. 168 years, 170 years, all that is true. But the point is, the moment I go for world, I must know what world is. So in the schools, we talk of outcome-based education. In the NEP today, which is the new education policy of India, it's a very important policy. We are talking about models. I listen to all of you. Very, very impressive. My impression of the whole world is there is no model which does not exist in India. You go to Germany, you go to Russia, you go to US, all models in those countries are already operating in India. But they don't succeed. There is no dearth of anything. Constitution of India is one of the best constitutions of the world. I tell this with a lot of passion right now. The UK doesn't have a constitution, unwritten constitution country, and yet it is working. It is working. So what is important is all of you should have the confidence that I will be able to do it. I shall make it, and I have in me that I will be able to make it. So each one of you can actually become a Arvind Krishna or Satya Nadella or anyone. With this, I will once again conclude, but not before the fact that I do see here some maybe Odia entrepreneurs who are here. I don't know your names, so I have not been able to tell it from my own experience, except Vanita, the others I don't know. But I'm quite sure that all of you are more precious to us, to this country, to this state, than many like me. We can only speak. Yes, it is true that we developed some new steels, and it is also true that in the world of automotive and so on, automotive, I say, the electric vehicles in Delhi, people said, how, idhar kaisa aayega electric vehicle, charge nahi kar payenge aap. Now there are 4,700 fast charging stations in Delhi and NCR. So automatically things are going to happen. But if that happens, do we know that the lithium-ion battery that I'm using, it is prone to explosion? You go to IIT Madras, you will immediately see that the technology park which Professor Junjunwala has set up, I recommend to our principal here and many of you, go and try to see the park, technology park in IIT Madras, if you have not seen it already. So 18 years back, Professor Junjunwala started it. Today there are 10 or 11 unicorns. There are more than 150 startups which are doing very well. But about your question, Professor Chinara, whether 5% succeed or not succeed, don't worry. I will say don't worry essentially because even in California, even in front of Stanford University where we used to stand, and in Berkeley, you throw a stone, a Nobel laureate will come. And the number of startups are quite high. The Odia entrepreneurs from there, they have come to Bhubaneswar for 20 years. And they say, we'll take you and make you succeed. But what succeeds, even in the US, today, after 10 years, you may not see that that is still working. So therefore, the geopolitic, my end message is the geopolitic of the world, not only climate change, the geopolitic is going to change. Change you. Whatever India does, or India was doing 15 days back or 20 days back, today the tone of the government has changed. It has to change. We have to say that we are purchasing less oil from Russia or something. I'm not trying to say whether it is right or wrong, but the point is we are under pressure. We do not have enough rare earth elements. And it is true, and ladies and gentlemen, suddenly it comes to my mind, so I'm sharing with you with a bit of disappointment. 8% of world's reserves of rare earth are in India. 8%. Do you know that Indian rare earth is only 4 kilometers away here? Go and check up how much of rare earth are you producing. We are producing chemicals, but the rare earths have still not come. Neodymium perhaps will come soon. But all I'm trying to say is, 8% of reserves belong to India, 0.8% of the rare earth products are with us. Why rare earth is important? Because all that, whatever screen is coming there, the color that is coming on the television, or on the battery, or on the computer, or the laptop, everything is connected with rare earth. You have to have the presidiums, you have to have the neodymiums into that. So rare earth is not rare. What is rare is actually separating them and bringing the right rare earth to the market. And that's quite a technology. So therefore, today, I don't know if you have read this news item, today's newspaper or yesterday's newspaper has just said, China is now taking India to the WTO because they say that India has started forming the critical mineral mission program, and only in yesterday, the Institute for Minerals and Materials Technology, with which I am associated, we're holding this very important conference. Government of India has said 7,003 crores, 300 crores we will give you, but do something on the rare earth. And if the rare earth doesn't come, the electric vehicles cannot come, the television industry cannot come, and the news said the first chip from India has reached US. From Vietnam, the chips have reached. From Cambodia, perhaps it will also reach. Maybe soon from Nepal also it will reach. So our chips also will go. But the point is not just chips going. The point is that whether the chips are completely innovative, they are different from the others, so that the other countries will also be interested in taking it from us. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Now I request all the dignitaries to join us back onto the dais. Please, sir. I now call upon Dr.
Thank you, everyone.
I now call upon Dr. Debashis Mahapatra sir, Organizing Secretary, ICEVB, to propose the vote of thanks. Please, sir. I would like to convey my gratitude to the patron of this program, Professor Dr. Sitaranjan Mohanty sir, Principal of IMSC Barampur, for speaking on the mindset and the challenges for the entrepreneurship and stressing on the concept of skill development that is essential for the growth of the academic institution, also for the country. We are thankful to the chief guest of this program, Professor Dr. Nath Mohanty sir, former Vice Chancellor Institute to Odisha, and the chief guest of this program, for for speaking on the innovation challenges, limitations, and the initiatives. We are thankful to the keynote address by Professor Dr. Prabhakar Sahu sir from Niti Aayog, New Delhi, for speaking on the ecosystem for Vikasit Bharat and the value addition to the education sector. We are thankful to all the participants, the special session speakers, the coordinators, the panelists, the media friends, faculty members, staff, student coordinators, and others to be present over here. So I hope we are going to have a very good sessions in upcoming 2 days. Thank you.
The inaugural session is over. I will take the dignitaries to take their dais of.
Thank you everyone for this amazing inaugural program and for the enlightening session we have had so far. As we move ahead to today's proceedings, we now commence the plenary session on the theme Translating Entrepreneurial Vision into Action, Challenges in Execution.
This session comprises of 4 insightful discussions that focuses on bridging the gap between visionary ideas and their successful implementation. It challenges every innovator and entrepreneur facing
Hyderabad and has over 22 years of teaching and research experience. His name proudly appears in Stanford University's list of top 2% most influential scientists.
Please, sir. Our first dignitary is Dr. Dipan Sahu sir, Assistant Innovation Director at Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, AICTE, New Delhi.
Sir has led major national programs such as the institution's Innovation Council, ARIIA ranking and Innovation Ambassador training, empowering over 1 million students across 16,000 institutions to innovate and build startups. With this, I invite Dr. Sahu sir for our first plenary session. Please, sir. With this, I invite Dr. Dipan Sahu sir. Dipan Sahu sir, to please be seated on the dais. Next, we have Dr. Ritesh Kumar Dubey sir, a distinguished professor at ICEVB Bhubaneswar. Sir is a fintech and innovation professional certified by the National University of Singapore and has taught at premier institutes including IMT Hyderabad, IIM Rohtak, and SP Jain Global School. His work focuses on ESG sustainability and entrepreneurship. With this, I invite Sir to come upon the dais.
We are delighted to welcome Dr. Bhairav Chandra Patra sir, who earned his PhD in entrepreneurship from IIT Roorkee and currently serves as faculty at IIM Sambalpur. His research emphasizes women entrepreneurship, where he applies innovative decision-making tools like AHP and DMATL to identify and promote women's entrepreneurial intentions in India. I now invite him onto the stage. Please, sir. Our final dignitary is Dr. Anita Sabat ma'am, a young entrepreneur, researcher, social activist known as nationally as the Rasagola Lady. She initiated hashtag Rasagola Divas in 2015, leading to the Odisha Rasagola GI tag, and co-founded Sabat Exports Private Limited and Utkal Amrita, which established the world's first Odisha GI store in Bhubaneswar. Ma'am, now I invite you to the stage. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, dignitaries, for joining the dais. With this, now we begin with our plenary session 1.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the International Conference Entrepreneurship and Viksit Bharat, ICEVB 2025. Thank you for joining this plenary session. The title of this plenary session is Translating Entrepreneurial Vision into Action, Challenges in Executions. We have 4 eminent speakers. I am Professor Sahu, will be the moderator for this plenary session. So, speakers will share their experience and insights on this topic. So, the first speaker is Dr. Dipan Sahu, who is Assistant Innovation Director, Minister of Education Innovation Cell, AICTE New Delhi. So, he will be talking about creativity, ideation, and innovation for problem solving. So we are actually running out of time. It might have got over by 11:15, but now it is 1 p.m. So let's stick to the time, sir. Maximum of 10 minutes time, okay, for each speaker. So we'll complete in time so that we can have our delicious lunch, okay. So I request now Dr. Dipan Sahu to start. Okay? Floor is open to you.
It's not 10 minutes, so you can do here. So, first of all, I will thank the principal of Parala Maharaj Engineering College and all the faculty members and the organizing committee. And especially thanks to the chief guest, madam, and the former vice chancellor who has instrumental to establish this institute. Basically, I belongs to the Ganjam district. My house is in Kodala and I studied in Barampur till 12th standard. So I know the foundation from, I was kind of witnessing the whole growth of this institute. Because when I was studying in my school, there was no foundation, there was no planning. Actually, it came in 2009. Then its construction started in 2007 or 8. So in this last 10 to 15 years, this institution has made a good remark, a kind of a good presence in our state, and one of the reputed institute in terms of producing good talents and engineering colleges, engineering talents. And currently I am with the Minister of Education, and also I am leading this innovation entrepreneurial policy domain across the country, and witnessing that how other states, especially southern states and western states and the some certain part of northern part, some colleges, those are producing or those are actually contributing in a meaningful way in terms of good quality innovations. And especially the eastern part like Odisha and West Bengal, though we have many potentials, but actually we are a bit lagging in terms of policy, in terms of output, in terms of intellectual property, in terms of quality startups. But in the last 4 to 5 years, something happened. Something happened, not only I'm saying that in the central government, also state government efforts, and especially the institutional efforts that happened. And now students are getting kind of a platform to showcase their ideas. They are getting the encouragements, they are getting incentivized for their participations, and many quality innovations are coming from our Odisha. Earlier it was quite things, but now it's really on the right track, but we have to speed it up. And the base for everything is the idea or innovation. I think you all are talking about it. Actually, idea and innovations are not the foundation. There's something is there before that. The foundation for any idea or innovations to happen is the inquisitiveness or the curiosity mindset. Are we teaching or are we giving that kind of environment to our students to have a curiosity or inquisitiveness? If answer is no, then whatever the force or whatever the kind of pressure you will put, no idea, no innovation will come. But actually it is kind of a, we have created a hype that everybody has to come up with an idea. Idea will never come overnight. If you are saying that anything is coming overnight, then actually that is not properly validated, that is not properly linked or not studied with the requirement of the customer or the client or the people for whom we are going to develop. That means definitely you will spend some time, definitely you will spend some money, and maybe you will use your own skill to develop something, but it will never click. And this is the situation is happening with many research outputs what we have in our country. No doubt we have good researchers in our country, and they are producing many research products, also having intellectual property, but 98% of such intellectual properties are never seeing the market because it was never built or designed keeping the people, keeping the client, keeping the customers in mind. Many things we design for this as a kind of a not properly valued to the market, but innovation distinguishes or it different from these inventions or in any kind of research outputs in terms that it starts with the design thinking principle. It starts with the customer. It starts with the data. It starts with the validation. And there are 3 types of validation it has to go. The first validation is the problem solution fit. That means if you are identifying a problem, it may be challenging, it may be a challenge also, it may be a situation where you are going to solve, and that problem should not belongs to you. That problem should belongs to the somebody, and that somebody must be a bigger mass, not a 1 or 2 or 3 members. That means a problem identified properly from the society or from the market, and the solution what you're prescribing, it must be an innovative component, either it may be incremental or radical, that doesn't matter, but it should be newer or the kind of an innovative one. So there should be a proper fit between the problem what you have identified and the what solution prescribing. It should be the first validation. The second validation is your product and market fit. That means what the solution you have developed, it has to convert into a product. That means it can be sold, it can be sold, it can be adopted, it can be transferred. That means the transferable form is called product. It may be service also. So this product what you are going to deliver, it must have all innovative features to address the problems faced by the customer while when they will adopt that product or when they will purchase or when they will use that product. So that market, that means the people's requirement must be included in the product. That is called product and market fit. This is the second level validation. And the third level validation is that when you achieve the product market fit and the problem solution fit, then it has to be go in a scalable form, in a replicable form, which will generate sustainable revenue out of it, or it will sustain in the market. That is called business model fit. And the business model should be adapted to the context of the society or context of the country's economy or kind of the people's acceptance. So that is called business model. For example, COVID-19, it came in 2019-20, and before that, many things were in the offline mode, kind of physical mode, marketing, event, all kind of things. Now, 80 to 90% of activities were taken care by the digital mode. This is the called business model delivery. Zomato, Swiggy came after 2019. Paytm and other things, just the UPI based and all kind of things, actually got boomed after 2019 COVID only. So the conversion, the moving from a physical mode to the blended mode or hybrid mode or kind of online mode, it is called the adoption to the system. So those have not adopted, they got vanished. Those got adopted, they flourished. So this is the way we have to accept, we have to get adapted to the system. So this three level of validation is required, and as I said, the foundation is the curiosity and the inquisitiveness should be nurtured and should be provided to the every individual, and this is the duty of the institutions to give that kind of environment, so that giving the opportunity to each one to ask what you understood and how you are going to create more knowledges out of it, and you will use it for wealth generation. So this is all about the creativity, ideation, and the main purpose is problem solving, so that each and every individual will contribute to the growth of the society, to the growth of its state, to the growth of its nation, and ultimately growth of the globe, and ultimately that is a place for wealth generation, the prosperity. This is what ultimately we are looking for, and what we are going to derive out of it. It's the happiness. Happiness, the end goal of everybody's life. And happiness will come from the creativity. Happiness will come from all this kind of when you contribute. And I think somebody has mentioned, one of the speaker, I think he mentioned that forgiveness, kind of the greatness lies what you're going to give. I think somebody has mentioned the quote, right? The greatness comes with what you're going to give. I think it's Abdul Kalam's quote. I think you mentioned in your, or maybe our chief guest quote. So, yes. So the greatness comes from what you're going to give, what you're not going to take. So this is the what way you have to think, and you have to realign, and you have to contribute to our nation's growth. Thank you. I think 10 minutes is done.
Thank you. Thank you. We in time. So, audience, any questions from your end? Sir is nearby, but finding him is very difficult. He is from AICT, Minister of Education Innovation Cell, very important cell.
How many of you know Institutions Innovation Council, IIC? I know your college has one IIC, but I don't know what level of function it is functional or not. But how many of you know IIC? Have you come across with the word IIC or Institution Innovation Council? Please raise your hand. Anybody? One. Somebody has raised. Last one. You are from Parala Maharaja College or somewhere else? Throughout the India. So would you please, somebody is raised. Somebody has raised. Anyway, please use the internet and Google and go and search IIC, Institutions Innovation Council, Actually, this is the kind of a framework we have developed, is a policy framework. And at present, 16,300 institutions in our country are actually streamlining and strengthening their innovation and entrepreneurial ecosystem in the campuses through IIC establishments. And this is the initiative of Ministry of Education, and Parala Maharaj College of Engineering also has one IIC, because AICT mandatory for each and every technical institutions to have an IIC, and now we are going to make it mandatory of functionality of the IIC. Only having an IIC is not required, a functionality is also required, through which every institution will act as an enabling agent, and they will provide this kind of platforms what I have taught, what I have explained to you all, so that every student will go through this experiential learning of innovation and entrepreneurship during the course of study. Along with faculty also will go through that process. So this is a what, yes. So see, if you will classify the whole things into three level, there are strategy three level, right? Long term, then it is called mid term, that is called short term. So India is actually need at all three level. So at the ministry level, what we started first focusing at the higher education, because it will be a short term and some mid term level, but also we have started focusing at the school level. So what the initiatives we are doing at the higher education, like school, Institution Innovation Council, similar line we have also started with school level, called School Innovation Councils, the tinkering labs, what we are saying that 10,000 to 50,000 numbers, but actually the number of schools we have is very large number. We have around 20 lakh schools we have in our country, 20 lakhs. And out of which only CBSE run schools only 50,000. That means it's a state government also has to take this initiative to provide necessary support system like infrastructure, like faculty, and then also curriculum to promote this creativity and innovation. So only since CBSE schools we have started, because it is central government, but respective state government also has to start these programs. So this is a long term, because a student will go through today, only he will able to think after 12 years, right?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Dr. Deepan. So let's invite the next speaker, Professor Dr. Ritesh Dubey, ICEVB-2025. He specialized in navigating the future of business, ensuring ESG and entrepreneurship for attaining sustainable development goals. Sir.
for making better Bharat, Viksit Bharat up there. Do you even think about it twice before doing a business which is non-compliant, right? So compliance is something which is always critical to any organization, right? So you never think that, okay, compliance is secondary. So why the climate change or why sustainability is something which is not, again, something like compliance for you. So make sure that whatever you are trying to innovate, whatever you are trying to do, make sure that it is going to impact in a sustainable way. The slides will be passed on to you at some point of time, right? And there is a website which basically says that purposefulcompany.org. The purposefulcompany.org says that the businesses which have a purpose, they do tend to flourish and they do tend to perform better than many other organizations or even on financial front. A lot of times the parameter has been only the finance. I come from an accounting and finance background, and now I am telling my students in today's session that, okay, do not talk about profit maximization, do not talk about shareholders wealth maximization, talk about the stakeholder wealth maximization. This is where things have shifted over past 25 years, right? So today this is what we are basically looking at. So any businesses that you think of, right? So come up with an idea which is basically going to sustain in long run. Any guesses that how long would be the oldest sustainable business that we'll have on earth? Any guesses on that? The oldest living organization that we often think of. On globe, the oldest running business that we have is Congo Gumi, which has survived for 1400 plus years. And many of us are not even aware of its name. So, and what we aim when we start our business, when we are trying to look for innovation, what we aim is that we want to become the world's biggest producers of something, world's largest service providers of something. Why don't we think that we want to be a sustainable business, right, which has zero impact or at least zero negative impact on the environment or on society there? Patagonia is a one case study that we often talk about in sustainable business cases. This is one company which comes up with a proper advertising campaign which says that don't buy this jacket. Now, a company which is basically manufacturing a jacket and which says that don't buy this jacket, what does it basically try to do? And is it a company which is still existing? Is it a company which is making profit? On today's date, if you search for Patagonia, you will see that it is one of the most renowned companies across the globe, right? And it is performing financially so well. And the products are of wonderful quality. And the discussions that we have on today's date around circular economy, now that basically was inception of this particular company since the origin of this company over there. So somewhere around 1969, the company originated, and circularity, the sustainability, that was basically core to the businesses of this particular company. And since then, it is successfully running. So can a business not run? If you don't comply to the laws of the land, you cease to exist, right? Similarly, if you don't comply with the environmental requirements, you will cease to exist in long run. That is what this company was able to tell. And a tagline of this particular company, which is Patagonia, is that Earth is now our only shareholder, and they have completely revamped their corporate governance mechanism for the same as well. So every company which is starting now, which is trying to solve a real life problem, please ensure that you are basically solving a purpose and be a purposeful company there, which is going to sustain in due course of time, keeping E, S, and G all at the core of your businesses there. These are not your secondary choices that you have. Profitability is not the primary choices. ESG should be your primary choice over there. And if you are purposeful, you will end up making profit, that is for sure. With this, I would like to conclude. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable points. Any questions? If you have any questions, you can. Yeah, please provide the mic.
Good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Jitendra Sahu from SMIT, Chandigarh. So my question is that we had talked about the stakeholders' profit maximization. But if you are talking about in Odisha, the stakeholders are the agriculture. So how far we can benefit them so that the cultivations of this organic instead of this inorganic, because moreover the populations are now trending towards organic foods. So how we can increase these stakeholders on the agriculture sector? That is my question. Thank you.
Okay. So the farmers that we have, these are one of the stakeholders that we have, right? Now the question is very valid. If farmers are our stakeholders or one of the stakeholders, how do we take care of them, right? As a manufacturer, if I am basically going for getting cheaper raw materials from outside because the local producers are on the higher side, why can't we basically work with them to make things bit cheaper over here? It may take time, right? It may take that, okay, I may not be profitable immediately because the current farming mechanism that they are having, that will lead to crops which are costlier over there, right? So the overall cost is on the high side. So let us think of a longer time. And this is where sustainability is not about getting profit at the earliest. It is being profitable in long run, right? It is basically taking care of everyone who's there in the entire value chain. The customer needs to be taken care of, the employees need to be taken care of, the farmers need to be taken care of, the suppliers who are there, they need to be taken care of, and the environment, that also needs to be taken care of. And this is where, so if you have to take care of them, then obviously you need to work along with them, right? Tend to basically help them. With the advent of technology, helping them has become very easy. With agri-tech companies coming up together, you need to come up with a kind of a smart farming model which can basically help them out in creating good products, quality products at a cheaper price. That is very much possible there.
Thank you. So we'll invite the next speaker, Professor Dr. Bhairav Chandra Patra, IIM Sambalpur. His title of the talk is Women Entrepreneurship, a Strategic Demand for Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. I hope I will not take much time, I'll take only 5 minutes. And it is very sad to see that the students ran away, because the main gist of the meeting or the conference was to motivate students to be entrepreneurs, right? And if there are no students to be entrepreneurs, like obviously it will be very difficult for us. Obviously we can be entrepreneurs as well, but the main motivation behind, I guess, doing this conference was the students as well. And very nice. And like, if I see, like, they were very nice key people who would have given very nice answers to their questions. Like, I'll tell you, if you are from a technical institution, obviously the technical quotient or the intellect to develop a new product is very high. But to make it marketable, as he already said, is very difficult. Because like, I have worked with 3 incubators, okay? And one of them was like, I have dealt with like hundreds of companies. And most of the like incubatees or the founders that come to us, they mostly come to us with maybe logistics problem or the marketing problem. As he was telling, the customer market fit or the product market fit. Yeah. So these were the things like they could have known, but that is fine. That is their loss. Yeah, like, sorry, I am interrupting for everyone. Like for organic, I would like to say there is nothing organic in India, because after the green revolution, like pesticides were used everywhere, right? So it is not that like a specific farmer in a specific place will tell that I am going to do it organic, because if the people nearby or the farmers nearby will be using pesticides, then that will be leaching to the groundwater, and obviously that water will be used again and everything will be like the chemical pesticides. So if we want that organic kind of thing, the whole system has to change. Because like if you go to a foreign country, maybe UK, in India, like everything, like the customer is very price sensitive. You cannot increase the price of the product and at the same time like think that they will buy the product. So we have, like, obviously there is a niche market where like there are health conscious customers or maybe people from different strata of economics who will buy the products, but taking it there is like very difficult in tier 3 or tier 2 cities. Okay, fine, I'll come to my topic, that is women entrepreneurship. I'll just say this. When we talk about women entrepreneurship, although like women constitute around 50% of the population, their participation is in entrepreneurship is very low. Can anybody guess like what would be the overall participation of women in entrepreneurship? Any number, anyone? Any random number, please tell me. Anyone? Yeah, you tell me. Yeah, yes, please. Yeah. पीछे क्यों देख रहे हैं?
I think it's around 5 or 10%.
This is very low. It is not that low. I'm asking the overall percentage. It is around 20%. Okay. But that is 20% because their participation is very high in small enterprises. That is micro enterprises. We always tell MSME enterprises, right? So the participation of women is high in small or like micro enterprise. That is around 22%. But when we go higher, the participation goes even lower. Okay. Like for maybe small enterprises, it is around 12%. For medium enterprises, it is only 5%. Okay. And when we talk about the large enterprises, it is like maybe 0.5 or 0.2%. So what is the problem there? Why women are not coming in entrepreneurship? It is not that they don't have the intellect, but maybe there are some stereotypical barriers or maybe some kind of barriers which are in the play that is like hindering their growth, right? So we need to take care of things. And obviously you may ask me a question, like why in a resource constrained country like India, we are talking about these people, like why only women, right? Because obviously their resource is not tapped, and if we are able to use that resource as well, and if women are able to come up with as many enterprises as like men, obviously our GDP can be grown by around 6.8%. That was the estimate by IMF, right? Yeah, that is it. Yeah, anybody has any questions? You can ask me because like obviously you will not be getting this kind of people. Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir. Let me take into account the SSG part, self-help group part. Do you believe that SSG create less income under women entrepreneur particularly in Odisha level or maybe in India level?
Yeah, I'll tell that SSG is playing a very good part at the the tier 3 and the tier 2 cities, because it is motivating women, and obviously there are many subsidies and many advanced facilities they are getting, right? And because of that, maybe their friend is trying to start at HEG, so she is pulling lot of women as well with her. So that is obviously increasing the participation of women in entrepreneurship. And once you get into it, obviously the drive becomes larger. Because I'll tell you one case as well. We have one person in Bargat. Her name is sorry, I forgot the name. All are Meher, okay? Because I also have worked with like the Sambalpuri weavers. Sukanti Meher. Okay. Sukanti Meher is a very renowned name now, and she has worked with the Ambani people also now. When his son was getting married, they carried that Sambalpuri sari for him. Okay. For his wife, obviously. So that is started from an SC, SSG, self-help group, and they motivated, they started their own company, and like there is a Sambalpuri also now. So at the grassroots level, obviously people will start, then yeah, they are also sourcing for nice. Yeah, thank you for the question.
I thought of.
Very nice. Please clap for him, please. Yeah, like as you rightly said, for the small industries, like it is very micro level, and like it is very easy to start, so they are starting at the village level. And when we talk about big names in women entrepreneurship, maybe only Kiran Shaw, Majumdar, Vinita, the only few names are there. So people should try to come up. Yeah, I guess I took a lot of time. Okay. Sorry.
If you will classify the entrepreneur, because see, everybody has entrepreneurial quality, but if you will classify in two terms, in two categories, linking with the productivity and the overall requirement, necessity-driven entrepreneurs and opportunity-driven entrepreneurs, right? So we recognize these SHG groups, all these SMEs as under necessity-driven, because they do some activities because they are not getting from the government job or something, so that they do some activities to feed, to have a livelihood. But when we say the opportunity driven, these are the innovation, IP, technology, and recognizing the problems and convert the challenges into opportunities. So actually, in India need both. We need both, but we need more opportunity driven. That's why the startup component came. That's why the startup, entrepreneurship, innovation, IP, and we are promoting our students to take care of, to lead in this front. So what he is talking, the women entrepreneurship in the opportunity driven is still less. But we are recognizing women component in the necessity still, it is 50% we find. Right? So this is the way.
Okay, thank you so much. That is all from my side. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Professor Bhairav. So finally we have Dr. Vinita Sabat, Director of Sabat Exports, Odisha. Her title of the talk is Vocal for Local, GI Tags of Odisha. Please.
Presentation I wanted to show. I'll just show some because it's 10 minutes. It's fine. Let it be 10 minutes. But I want to show because I worked for it. Yeah. So you will be. Can you give me so that I can change it? Yeah. I just changed it fast so that everyone. And I would request everyone to just because we have less time, just focus on this. Just focus on the screen so that we can get it done fast. Which is not working, is it? Yeah, I know, but it's not. You just try. First, many thanks to Maharaja Parla Engineering College for this opportunity. And for me this means a lot because this is my native place, Brahmapur Silk City. This is the place of my grandparents. And I want to show some images also. And this is the holy place of Ma Tara Tarini. So Jai Ma Tara Tarini. How many of you have visited Ma Tara Tarini? Please raise your hand. Everyone? There's one Johgada over here. Have you visited? Ashoka's Johgada, how many have visited? Those who have not gone, please go. It's a very historic monument which we have here. So we should go and attend. When we are talking of vocal for local, we should see. So this is Ma Tara Tarini and Jai Ma Durga. Anyone knows what she is wearing? Can anyone say this is a gold and silver filigree, Tarakasi? Okay, so that has got the GI tag. And Jai Shri Jagannath. Can anyone say what he is wearing? So I would say he is the most vocal for local brand ambassador of the universe. Because he wears all local products. That is the Gita Govinda Khandua Vastra which he is wearing. Gita Govinda Khandua Patta. It has poet Jayadeva's verses on it, you just see. Okay, next. So it is one of the iconic, UNESCO iconic textiles. 50 iconic textiles of India, out of which Odisha has 5. Anyone knows what is this? So we have it coming. Prathamashtami, that is the Haladi Patra Pitha. This is my grandfather, Sri Abhimanyu Sabat, who was called the king of turmeric, and he was operating from Brahmapur. And I'm very proud to share that 3 years ago, Kanthamal Haladi became the first winner of the agriculture GI category in the National IP Award. So our Haladi won it, and I'm happy to have worked for that. For this IP. So this was the coverage 3 years ago. We are seeing these are the reports that the Facebook showed me today. So I put these images. So this was covered extensively because it was the first time. And can anyone identify what is the handloom? It is Silk City, Brahmapur, Thoda Kumbha Patta. Okay, so that is Silk City. Anyone knows what she is wearing? The name of the sari, anyone knows? Mitali ma'am is also wearing that. Same sari, and even I am wearing the same sari. Can anyone say what is the name of this sari? So this is Bomkai sari, and Bomkai is a village in Ganjam district. Bomkai. From here it has gone, and now it's called Sonpuri because they are wearing what she is wearing in Sonpuri it is called, but actually it is Bomkai sari. Does anyone know the name of this? Can anyone say? Great. Did everyone know the answer of this? Did you know? Everyone knew the answer? Have you seen this? Have you seen? I hadn't seen this any time, and I didn't know that it belongs to Ganjam, and I felt really bad when I first started working for GI. Now another very vocal for local ambassador which we have is President Murmu Madam. You see what she is wearing? That is Gopal Puttasar sari. She is being gifted the Katak Tarakasi. You can see the deities. Correct, and she has also been gifted this Gopal Puttasar stole. So PM Modi's today's tweet, he says, let us all become vocal for local brand ambassador. Okay, so entrepreneurship, when we talk about that, he's also wearing our Sambalpuri Uttariya. He's wearing Sambalpuri Bandha. He's wearing Sambalpuri Bandha, and this was at Russia, and he told that he's wearing Sambalpuri Bandha. He told it in Mann Ki Baat as well. He's wearing, and this is how we have to promote it. I'm very happy to see the hostess wearing Sambalpuri Bandha sari today. Thank you for wearing, and I would request you all to please wear, because we have to wear, we have to be vocal for local. Does anyone know what this is? Talapatra? Very, very good. Thank you for not saying it is Pattachitra. It is Talapatra. So India has many different types of art. You just see, I'm just changing the slide because we don't have much time. These are all different arts of different places of India, and each have their own distinct name and identity. Okay, but if you look online, you will find wrong information. The names of the arts are wrong. But how it will be possible that everyone should know everything? Because see, this is Sambalpuri Bandha sari, in which it is hand-woven, and India has so many states, and we don't know our own name. Like Bomkai sari, people don't know. People say it is Sambalpuri. So this is my favorite quote. I have to say this. Only when people are informed, they will become aware. Only when they become aware, they will take action. And only when they take action, planet Earth will be saved. So that is true for all the products. If we are talking about entrepreneurship, we have to know our products first. What is our product? This Jagannath Dham, the one and only Jagannath Dham in the whole universe. And many of our local products are linked with this. Traditional, local, GI products are linked. And this is a maritime trade of Odisha. Here you see, Boita Bandana, we will be celebrating on Kartika Purnima. We will all float boats to show the maritime trade. Can anyone tell me what is this? Does anyone know? Can anyone identify? Can you see? Can you see the images? What is this image? Where you will find it? A hint is it is UNESCO World Heritage Site, Sun Temple, Konark. I want you to identify this animal. What is this animal over here? This is elephant. This is what? Yeah, did anyone say giraffe? I heard giraffe. Yeah. Okay. So this is the giraffe. How is it possible that 13th century monument should have a giraffe? Thing is, we had this ancient maritime trade, not only with Southeast Asia, with Africa and other places as well. And that's how it is. And no, Vasco da Gama did not discover sea route to India. Our people already knew. And this is all as Sambalpuri Bandhu Sari, you can see here also. It is a maritime trade. Sadhava poor, they used to go there, Boita Mandana, it is being shown. You can see the images. And incidentally, what he is wearing over here, this till now we are doing in Sambalpuri Bandhu, same design pattern are there, even in Bali and in India. So my sister, this is Amrita Sabat, my sister, she was a contestant in KBC episode number 4. And in that we she gifted this Boita Mandana to Shri Amitabh Bachchan ji, and he was very impressed. And this is our artist, national awardee, Shri Jitendra Parida ji. We asked him to make because we wanted to showcase the maritime trade of Odisha. So this is the intellectual property. We are talking about IP is intellectual property. Ma'am talked about WIPO, so World Intellectual Property Organization. Our chief guest also told, Mahanti Babu also told that. This is GI. Now GI is a type of IP, geographical indication, what we are talking. So when we are saying vocal for local, it has to belong to that particular region and it must have unique special characteristic. It's a community right. It comes under the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade, which comes under the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. So this is a GI logo and tagline. Atulya Bharat ki Amulya Nidhi or Invaluable Treasures of Incredible India. So India has many, like more than 650 GIs so far. And they are given in these 6 categories. So we talked about agricultural products. You were saying organic. So Kanhamal Haladi is an organic product. As per, and we have to give everything and our names are on the register. So this is our first when we register, then more people will come to know of it and then the demand will come. And we are the authorized user for Odisha Ikat. Odisha Ikat means Khandua we saw, what Shri Jagannath ji was wearing, plus Sambalpuri. Or both these are types of tie and dye fabric. So those are called Odisha Ikat. So our name is there on the GI website. You can see our name first. Our company name is there, Sabat Expo. So we are the authorized user. So this is the GI logo and tagline. So we are working for GIs now, and we started with Rasgulla because Rasgulla is the identity of Odisha. People do not know that it belongs to Odisha, and we informed everyone. last forever, and that will be kept on citing all wrong information stating like this, see, the spelling of the state is wrong, the sari's name is wrong, and then they will collate that and put in the news articles. So when someone is writing something, they think that whatever is given online is correct, and then they give that. So fake products are also there. So beware of fake product. Just because something is less cheaper, please don't buy. Ma Samleshwari Ma, she is also wearing a fake sari, printed sari, which should not be done. So all that is happening, and we need to take care. Odissi dancers need to wear our thing. So we went to Singapore. This is Singapore. We also went to Australia, China, Malaysia. Everywhere we found our Odisha, Odisha PP lampshades. Everywhere they were there. So our brand is Utkalavritha, www.utkalavritha.com. So we sent sari to Vidya Balan also. You must have seen this. This was in the news. This is the math sari. It has math equation. So this sari was in the news. And then we wanted the original weaver to get the credit. So we auctioned it. She is an IIT student. She bid the highest amount, 55,000, which we transferred to the weaver, Shri Bhagavata Meher. So that was also in the news. And then we started this GI store. So we were selling that from 2015. We are promoting Odisha local products. But then the store, recently it was inaugurated on July 4 by our assembly speaker, Surama Padi madam. And you can see she's cutting chennapoda. This is another request. Next time for your birthday, please don't cut cake. Birthday, anniversary, any event, please get local sweets. Don't get cake. That is a request. Then we can help for Viksit Bharat by promoting our own products this way. So these are now Guda, this Khajuri Guda, then Haladi, Rasgulla. All these products are available in our and Haladi, Rasgulla, Guda. So you can order from website, and this I already told. So we have Sambalpuri then on August 1st, and we have August 7th is National Handloom Day. But why wait for only one day to celebrate? Let us all buy, wear, use, promote GI product. So this was the winner of the first National Handloom Day, August 7, 2015. This is Shri Viswanath Meherji. He won the award, and I'm very proud to share that last year the winner was his father. This is Shri Rasanand Meherji, and he won the award, National Handloom Award for this sari, which is a GI heritage of Odisha sari, and I'm happy to have facilitated and coordinated for this sari, given all the information. So this has all the information of the 17 GI till then, whatever were there, and this won the award. So this way we are trying to celebrate this local products, and this PM Modi ji's latest tweets I took today. He has just posted yesterday, and he has asked everyone to become brand ambassador. And anyway, he says, "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Prayas, Sabka Vishwas." So let us all join together, and we are promoting, and we all are stakeholders. So not farmers, not weavers, artisans, no one. Everyone has to join together and then go for this. So with that, thank you so much for the opportunity. And I'm wearing Pipili ethnic earrings, which I had a chance to facilitate at Pipili. I asked them to make such products, and let us all wear local products and take. For the Viksit Bharat, all of us have to contribute. Thank you so much. Jai Shri Jagannath.
Hello. Sir, can I ask question?
Very well presentation, congratulations. So I had a question for you. So you talked about Bombay sarees, no? Last 1 month back, I had been to B.Ed College, Cornishi, therefore to evaluate some projects about the startup projects. There one boy, he presented about the Bombay sarees. And one problem he said that they are not getting artisans. because demand is there, but supply is problem is. So what is your opinion? How to motivate, just 1 minute, how to motivate the artisans? Is this problem, is there for this problem applicable to other brands, to Sambalpuri and this Khandua, this thing, or it is only limited to this Bomkei? He was very much concerned about this, so they are not getting artisans. So what is the problem behind this and how to motivate this? Thank you.
I would say that Bomkei doesn't have that issue, though the original Ganjam Bomkei, that has a supply issue because there are very few weavers. The Ganjam Bomkei, because Bomkei is a village in Ganjam district. But now Bomkei, like what ma'am is wearing, what I'm wearing, what Diya Mirza was wearing, that is all Sonpuri. It is being called Sonpuri. In Sonpur district it is available. There are many weavers. The weaves which are not available are Dhola Pathara Parda and fabric, in which only 2 weavers are there, and Habaspuri Sari and fabrics. How many of you have heard the name Habaspuri? It is a weave of Kalahandi. There are also only hardly 6 to 8 weavers are there. And I'm upset to share that even Barampur Podakumba Patta, the same thing. We tried to do an exhibition, Utkala Divasa. We tried to get all the GI weaves of Odisha together. And despite my best attempts, I could not get 2 weaves. One was this Barampur Podakumba Patta, because it was not there. They did not have supply. Even 2-3 patta also they did not have. For an exhibition, you need at least 20 patta you need to come and stand. It was just 2-3 days exhibition it was. That one I could not get, and Kapda Ganda Dongriya shawl also I could not get because the tribals issue is with the tribal. So supply is problem for this. Otherwise for the rest we have to do. Another question is there? Yeah.
I am Dr. Pradimba Padhi, and I have a question, madam. I think you have already mentioned in the last 2 sentences. As you have mentioned, we are observing Sambalpuri Day. Then what is the cause we are not observing in the Barampuri Pata Divas? And anyone here wearing that Barampuri Pata, all the things, as we are belongs to Barampur and my birthplace, I'm Mamuhara Sambalpur. So I know all the culture. In each and every school, in each and every college, or in anywhere we can go, the uniform is mandatory to wear the Sambalpuri. But as compared to the Barampur, we are not wearing that. As an individual, as all the stakeholder, whether we are the teacher, the students, or the college owner, or whether it's a PMC, they are not promoting that. So local for vocal, we are organizing international conference and we are ignoring this.
Correct.
So I'm always, if you are, and it can generate employment opportunity.
Yes.
Because it is a hidden truth that we are not having so much of kind of this promotions for this Barampuri Patta. If the uniforms is mandatory for all the colleges, then the number of shops and all the things, it can diversify the employment opportunity. Please take care this about it, because you are also the product of this Barampur.
That is true. That is why we opened the store, GI store. We did not have, Odisha did not have a single GI store. So this is the first, world's first Odisha GI store. So it's at the Master Canteen area in Bhubaneswar. If you are coming, please come. Otherwise, you can see online www.utkalamrita.com. And everyone, like you mentioned during wedding, you see in your family wedding, friend's wedding, are they wearing Odisha sari? Is the bride wearing, is the groom wearing? What is the groom wearing? He looks like a North Indian. The bride also gets from Calcutta or from Delhi. They will wear lehenga, they will not wear our Odisha sari. Then how this will go forward? We have to wear ourselves, no? We have to be brand ambassador. So that way then we can take this forward. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot for all the opportunity.
Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank all the speakers for their expertise. And this is the time to facilitate our distinguished speakers. So I would like to request all the speakers please come to the stage. And I request Senior ma'am also please come and facilitate the speakers.
Hello. All the guests and distinguished speakers kindly move for the lunch, go for the lunch to the guest house. And we'll start the technical session in 1 hour.